Welcome into the arena, the most successful South American team to grace the International. Infamous have already set a new record for South Americans. They want to go one step further. A top 8 place is within touching distance in the next best of 3. These players could not have imagined it would be this successful on day number 3 of TI9. Infamous will take their place inside their booth and get themselves ready for their opponents who enter the arena right now. A Chinese name with a North American twist. Newbee enter the Mercedes-Benz Arena to rapturous applause, no doubt about it. The Chinese fans, of course, getting behind their hometown team with a slightly different look this year. Of course, Newbee moving on from Forward Gaming. They are in the lower bracket as well. They face Infamous. These two teams have only played once before, and really, it's not much to talk about. It was a 16-minute stop by the players from Newbee. They won't be thinking too much about that today as they get themselves settled, I'm sure, gents, because we don't really have much on these two teams going head-to-head. There's not much out there, and that one game is kind of whatever.
Yeah, but they do know each other really well, right?
They do,
sure, they haven't
play with each other.
Yeah,
and
pubs.
They know each other, exactly.
They play each other all the time in pubs. They probably flame each other all the time in pubs as well, which, you know, we love.
I don't want to say too much,
cool,
but this guy does too. He's in there as well.
Sometimes.
A little
Depends
bit.
on my mood.
All right.
I've gotten better about it in the last few years. I've matured, I guess you could say. But yeah, they definitely are very familiar with each other, and it should turn out to, we should see that, especially like in the draft, especially in like a lot of plays and stuff too, the way they set up. They're both going to be pretty prepared for each other. I was really happy to hear the roar that we heard from the crowd, right? Even for like Infamous coming out. Kind of like new team, and they were actually really really
everyone loves an underdog, and they are kind of the underdogs in this matchup already. Let's not beat around the bush. But Brian, one of the cool things that happened to me a few days ago was I spent some time with Samael. We were poring over stats and talking, you know, form and his brother and all sorts of other things. And he said to me, this stuck in my mind. It was so amazing. We started looking through the Infamous stats and we're like, hey, look, this. And he was like, do you know what? This Hector guy is a beast. And if Samael was saying that, I'm like, oh, wow, he really rates him. And I think you do too.
Yeah, he defines the entire playstyle for Infamous, and what they've had for success this tournament is basically a 4 protect 1. And the whole idea is that his timings dictate the entire pace of the game for the team. And I want to take us into a couple clips of really showing his playstyle in the mid to early game. That what it basically is a lot of carries will hold their TPs after farming to TP to their team if any fights in the mid game. Hector almost always TPs from farm to farm. And you're seeing in the early game, he goes from top lane to top shrine just to get an extra efficiency out of the neutral creeps. And it seems like such a small deal, but they know Infamous. If you watch their playstyle, it's just 4v5 for the first 15 to 20 minutes of the game. And when you watch the net worths, it is Hector at the top by almost double the net worth, and then it's the rest of Infamous on like almost 5th and 6th on the net worth. And you're seeing here, once he gets the Radiance, he then takes over all the bottom half of the farm and then proceeds to TP to the top half of the map to clear even more farm. This entire playstyle of Infamous revolves around the way he plays, and you just know what you're getting out of this player. And it may seem like an AFK pub style, but at the end of the day, he's made it to TI, and they're performing against some of the best teams. We saw them beat LGD in the group stage with this similar strategy, and it's all about Newbee, I think, attacking this idea that Hector's going to be playing by himself. And we talked about slowing down his timings and basically saying, Infamous, you're forced to fight us 4v5 for an extra 5 minutes in this game, and it should be no problem taking you down.
Some people would argue that that Newbee should focus on their own game. They shouldn't worry about the team. But do you feel that strongly that they actually have to have a plan for Hector?
I think that so far the teams that have played against Infamous have thought that.
Right.
And then they see a 30,000 net worth Wraith King at 35 minutes into the game with 940 GPM. They're like, wait a minute. we lost. You look at the net worths in that game that I showed you, it was so funny. You just see 35,000 net worth Wraith King, and the next is like 21,000 in the game, and that's just how they play.
That is, I mean, it is pretty insane. You do have to find some way to address it, but also, like you said, a lot of the teams here have been saying, stick to your style.
Right.
Don't worry about what they're going to do because we're better than that. We know how we play, and they're going to be playing with 4 people. So if you're playing your own strategy and they're playing man down, you could just run over them.
Let's turn our attention to Newbee. I mean, how did you rate their group stage? Because I felt like they were probably the biggest overperformers, weren't they?
Well, absolutely. I was incredibly impressed. I mean, the whole group stage, they only lost a series outright 2-0 against Team Secret. And it's like, okay, fair enough, it's Team
Seems
Secret.
right,
Everyone else, they're able to at least draw the series with. And for these guys, it's very impressive. These are some old school players and some also old school panelists, right? You have this team where 3 of them, Aoi was involved in the Kiev major coverage, I was involved in the KL major coverage. CCNC, he was a TI panelist. They've sort of come back together, and they really are doing it under the Newbee moniker, and it's very impressive to watch. These are sort of players that have been passed around the region, tried out a lot of different compositions. Nothing's really sort of been able to sort of drive them into a position. As of recently, of course, we've got some past phenomenal stars at sort of the earlier TIs, but for this day and age, for these guys to find something that works together, it's remarkable to see. And in a region where a few months ago you're asking people about NA, it's EG and all the rest. No, it's EG and Newbee and all the rest now.
Gives Brian and Fogged a chance, a hope. That they might be able to return to a panel team.
Well, look at this. I've played with most of these players, Paul. Excuse me. I played with MSS. I played with Snaking, my boy the King. And then we even have Curtis, like you said, Aoi.
So they've all got...
Look at that.
There's no footage in black and white that exists of those games. It was so long ago.
Yeah, and also look at them. They're all successful now that I'm not playing. So I guess we're finding the extra.
You rubbed off on them a little bit, maybe. Think about it that way instead.
You're digging your own hole. So let me bail you out. We'll go through a few of the players. We'll start with Yawar, and I want to bring up his brother as well, Samael. Many people obviously tune in. They're brand new to the international. Yawar is on Newbee, and Samael is on EG. And obviously they find themselves in different teams from the North American region. They go head-to-head with each other very infrequently, it has to be said. They have played each other in games, but never at TI. And that's what we're waiting for Hassan Bowl in the international. And it hasn't happened. Didn't happen last year. Could have happened in the upper bracket. Didn't. Newbee now need to win for that to happen and carry on. But what I wanted to bring up more about Yawar is that he's very much been in his brother's shadow for the last couple of years. I feel like in the group stages, he put down a marker. He said, no, I can play just as well. I can carry this team too.
Kind of becoming your own individual when you have a brother like Sumail for Yawar, I think is really difficult. And I think he's handled that whole dynamic of the way the community's almost flamed him, saying you'll never be as good as your brother, these types of things. And he's just he's a quiet guy. He's kind of sat back and said, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to get better. 3 years ago, kind of an iffy tier 2, tier 3 NA player. And now you're seeing him at TI 2 years in a row, putting up a solid performance. I think he looks way better this year than last year. And it just shows how much hard work goes into it. And I think playing together with similar teammates, discussing the game, has a lot to do with it, like his ability to progress as a competitive player. Because a lot of it's the mindset, the strategy, the cohesiveness of a team aspect.
Yeah, I remember when we first started to see Yawar coming up in the pubs and everything, and we were all playing. We're all playing in the NA pubs, and people were very impressed with some of his farming patterns and stuff. So now that we're seeing him, like you said, develop on all that, he's really starting to find his best form, right? He's I think he had average 460 last hits or something across games. That's insane. Yeah. That type of farm, he's playing at absolute top form, and now you're looking at, damn, he's really bringing it to Sumail.
Yeah, highest average last hits during the group stage of any player, and highest average GPM as well, which is slightly blown out because of the out games and what have you. But but still, he's in the top 5 or top 10 for almost every stat you can dig out from the group stage on an individual player. So he's up there. He's doing it.
He really is. And you sort of looked at the day one, and this, I think, was the first LAN ever where you're watching sort of Yawar with Newbee, Sumail with VG, and you're saying, well, this is the LAN, this is the time where Yawar, he is going to go further than his brother. Obviously, yesterday, then EG did beat Secret. All right, okay. Sumail is kind of cranking it back up to 11. But for the most part, there's absolutely every reason to believe that Yawar could certainly make the run here with Newbee.
One of the other players that's often been criticised, Brian, CCNC. He's been given a lot of grief over the last few years about being a bit of a flamer and maybe hard to play with and maybe not as high skilled as he should be. I think he's had pretty much everything thrown at him another one answering the critics here, because he's played fantastically well again in the group stage.
Absolutely. At the highest level, the players, they talk about other players. And a lot of times you hear about CC&C, you heard about his inability to win the mid lane.
Right.
He was like a solid mid-game player. He knew what to do. He played around the team. But he would almost always come out at some sort of disadvantage in the mid lane. And now I think that's been solved. I think he's come together as an early game skilled mid laner. He plays 1v1s all day.
All day.
And that's the dedication. They know their mistakes. They recognize their shortcomings, and they just bring them all together.
All right, good stuff. Thank you very much, guys. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, to get into game number 1.
Versus Game 1.
Newbee versus Infamous. We're over here to start talking picks, bans, key players, teams. Joined by Blitz, Lacoste. Lacoste, what's your first impression here coming into Newbee versus Infamous?
Both of these teams performed way better than anyone expected, I guess. And Infamous looking really good. As Brian pointed out, 4 Protect 1. This is not what we usually see, not in this meta, creating a lot of space. And Newbee will have to address this problem. They can't just play their own game. They will need to get the early towers and try to take some of these creep camps from Hector, because this guy is actually a beast when he gets the free farm.
Yeah. Do you like the tools that Newbee have, Will, as far as matching up against Infamous?
I think so, because I feel like they should know each other pretty well. I'm sure they've scrimmed before this event. I think Newbee, well, it just looked really bad against OG, but they can push a pace if they need to, and I feel like that's what you need to do to be successful against Infamous. We saw those 2 games that they played against OG. I don't think that any team, even if you think you're better at it, don't play to their strengths. Infamous is a very good late game team. Chris Luck and Hector, they are so good at finding farm.
The only thing Infamous needs to do is not lose the laning stage so hard, because they can be ran over so easily. We've seen in one of those games where they lost in 15 minutes.
And that's the crazy thing with Infamous, is they've lost some of the biggest stomps of this tournament. You mentioned the 15-minute game. I think there's been several games of theirs in the group stage where people are like, oh yeah, you know, Infamous, that's the team from South America we expect to get dead last. Here they are, though, playing for a slot in the top 8, and they've had some amazing games, particularly when they go late game.
Yeah, I don't even know if Newbee's the favorite here, because Infamous, remember, this was the team that took first blood off of Vici. When Vici was looking unstoppable, Infamous absolutely smoked them.
Yeah, and something we've seen so far is every team that's dropped down to the lower bracket has actually lost. Both Virtus Pro as well as TNC. So there is something to be said for the momentum coming off of a win in the best of ones. Do you feel like that is something that's going to come into play here?
It could. I mean, if you look at how badly Newbee got smoked by OG, like that was a bodying for the ages. You saw the OKGG. I feel like that can do some mental damage to you. Whereas Infamous, even though they did start in the lower bracket, they're on a roll right now.
Now, we've seen no GGs, we've seen some other stuff, some Instagrams at the end of the games when Navi played. But OKGG, this is the first time that we saw that one. And they open up with Mag. I see that a lot of the teams, as tournament progresses, they are shifting towards this big team fight optics, as always, pretty much. You have this Enigmas, Tide Hunters.
And this is one of those pace-setting heroes like we talked about. Newbee needs to be a little bit more aggressive. We have seen them win these ultra late game situations like the game against Alliance, but I think against Infamous, all the games that I've seen, you don't want to get into these 60-minute clown fest where Hector pops out with 6 items. The best thing to do, I think, is just run at them, and Leshrac is proving to be one of the best heroes at doing so.
Yeah, especially in this scenario where they already have someone who can empower Hector. You have this steroid for him, and I would not be surprised if they just pick Hectors here. Phantom Assassin still in the pool, one of the best combos you can get with the Mag. Oh, I mean, he also invented kind of the build on these strength heroes. I love the little thing when he buys Belt of Giant Strength, extra little top of it after he gets Hand of Midas.
I'd like to see Tiny RSD picked up for Infamous. I feel like they play around these heroes very well. We saw Schofield Tiny just absolutely dominate in the group stage. But instead, they change things up a little bit, go for the Nyx.
That's a great pickup, actually, because of the Carapace, a lot of uncontrollable damage on side of Newbee. Great hero against Celeste. You are forcing him to get an early BKB, which he kind of does not like to go, because if the game drags, his BKB will be 5 seconds, and the mana burn will be maxed out, so that's a lot of damage coming up from Nyx Assassin, and you can always stun this Elder Titan if he's trying to stun you with the Spirit.
And I think this is the first, or the second time I've seen Infamous take Nyx. The first time being in the group stage against EG, which I think they lost that game. It was the one where they had Huskar.
Okay. The one thing with Infamous, I do question it, like, these two heroes individually both sound great for them. Magnus, you got the Empower for your Hector heroes, Nyx Assassin as far as easy carapaces, but most likely a 3-4. And I feel like Nyx Magnus is not really a good dual lane. Like, those are not heroes you typically expect to see laning together or playing around each other.
Yeah, that is the one thing about Infamous that's a little bit odd. They don't seem to pick a 3-4 synergy often. Instead, what they seem to do is they heavily prioritize on trying to gank mid and their safe lane. They're one of the teams that I feel like secures their safe lane the most for very obvious reasons. I mean, we've talked ad nauseum about how good Hector is. You know, put the game in the hands of your best player.
Yeah.
That is the best thing that you can do with these TIs.
Faceless Sweat is still in the pool if Newbee wants to grab it. That's a lot of damage they can throw into the Chronosphere. Elder Titan also lash on top of it, and you have a good hero to play around the RP, because if you initiate first on Mag, he can't get in. Like, he can't counter your team with an RP, and you can get on top of RP as well when they group up with the Chronosphere.
You can see the numbers there. Schofield, Nyx, his most played hero throughout TI9. Something that he's well known for. The Magnus as well, so there is some flexibility as far as which of these heroes is played in the 3 or the 4 position role. As now the second Sage of bans coming out. So Lifestealer banned out. At this point, Newbee, you got to know some kind of Empower carry is coming your way, and you want to just ban out some of the scarier looking ones. Lifestealer with the built-in Rage Magic immunity, very tough to play against for both Leshrac and ET.
Surprised that SD wasn't taken by either team.
That has been like one of the most contested 5s for sure.
Yeah, it's just so value. The Disrupt is, the Disruption I feel like is just straight up one of the best 5 position spells that you can get, because it doesn't just act as a save. You can use it offensively. It's so unique and versatile in that regard. Plus your Purge, the slow going through BKB, makes you such a great anti-carry. I've seen so many situations where teams try to jump the 5 position SD, and he lives for way longer than he should. He gets his entire toolkit off. If he gets Soul Catcher off, that's one of the best burst spells in the game too. And I think there's even more value for the SD when you see Axe on the enemy team.
It just got banned before they picked the Axe, so I think
snap.
they're hearing you, Will. They're like, okay, we want this Axe here, and what are they going to pick if we get Axe? SD would hard counter Axe as far as being able to save, having a save against Axe, because this Axe gives you a way to kind of preemptively counter whatever Hector's playing. He's playing some heavy physical damage core that doesn't want to get Blade Mail called by an Axe, theoretically.
Yeah, I actually really like that.
Yeah, with the Axe, you also have a BKB piercing ability, which is good at every stage of the game. And usually Newbee saves this Axe for their last pick. And I guess they were afraid that it's not going to make it through the last banning stage. Yeah.
I'm started down to see Hector's hero right now, because I feel like you see your core matchup. You know that you're going to be against the Axe, but instead they take the Oracle, another type of save.
I don't think they're preparing for Raid King, because there's not much synergy between Oracle and Raid King, because he already has 2 lives, so I still think Phantom Assassin is a great pickup for them.
Even the Empower on the Wraith King is obviously fine. He'd get benefits from the cleave, but he doesn't need the cleave to farm. He's got the skeleton, so he's not a hero that gets amplified by having cleave the same way like a Phantom Assassin does.
Plus, you're going to get Radiance, so you already have a flash farm mechanic. You're going to go Midas Radiance oftentimes. I feel like it feels a little bit redundant.
Yeah. Any chance of just the classic Mag Jug as well?
The only thing is, I hate playing Jug against Axe. I feel like every phase of the game, it just hurts you. You're so easily killable. I don't know how good it feels like with Oracle as well. When you get low, you're naturally just going to pop your ult instead.
When you're playing any carry against the Axe, and if he's having a good early game, which means that he's going to get that good timing on a Blade Mail, it always feels bad.
Yeah. I like the idea of having a carry that can have kill threat on Axe, because you don't want to give Axe a free game in the laning stage. That to me is always where things will kind of spiral out of control, and the Jug at least brings that kill threat to the table.
And they take Shaman. They're continuing the trend of being very aggressive and running at the lanes. I feel like Infamous, what they really lack right now is wave clear or some way to push things out. They're going to go for the Wraith King anyways. I feel like this is one of those situations where it's because it's a Hector hero.
Yeah. It's not maybe about picking the best hero to fit in that draft and play with Magnus and the rest and the Oracle. It's just like, hey, this is Hector. This is comfort pick. This is his best hero he plays in Dota. Let's pick it.
I will say, I think even more so, they need wave clear. Like, when you have this kind of lineup, it's important that you have the ability to instantly push out lanes so that your Magnus doesn't feel super pressured. As a Mag, what you want to be able to do is just max out in power, but it does mean that you have very little team fight. Since you decided to go a 4-position Mag that gets 4 points in power, you have no levels of Shockwave, you have no ways to really kill around the map. You're going to highly just rely on your carry farming out the triangle, which means you need another hero to apply pressure around the map.
And if you compare the two lineups, Newbee's lineup can easily clear the creep waves, even the supports. Also, Shadow Shaman can be on the different side of the map using wards to put a pressure on the towers, just buy some time if early game doesn't go well for them.
I feel like Infamous actually needs like some sort of long-range poke. I'd even be okay with some sort of Ember or something like that, so that they can just like consistently hit back and forth, or a Storm. Something along those lines where you don't have to hard commit. You can just sort of roll through the wave.
I mean, the Ember idea is also another hero that benefits from Empower too, so you kind of get, you know, 2 useful things out of it there.
Yeah, I'd like to see Ember or Storm personally.
And we do talk about them being 4 Protect 1, so as much as, yeah, we want to empower the Wraith King, he's just going to be off by himself. He doesn't need the Empower to necessarily farm, so getting another hero for your mid lane that can farm with it isn't a bad idea.
I think what you need right now on the side of Infamous is a way to delay the game, in case your laning phase doesn't go ideally, and I don't think that Infamous's heroes so far are ideal for the early game. Whereas I feel like Newbee's early game and their laning is going to be very strong.
Because you wanted Newbee to play fast and try and run over Infamous, not let Hector farm. Do you think they've kind of drafted towards that strategy?
Yeah, definitely. They have 2 supports who can rotate easily, and if Axe gets his good timing on his items, they can easily snowball, even without seeing the last pick. But thinking about the last pick, it's a really good Slark game, because they don't have many counters for Slark at this point.
Have we seen much of UR playing Slark so far?
I've seen 2 games personally.
Okay. So something you can definitely play.
I mean, you can always fall back to Faceless Void, but there's a lot of save right now. There's a Wraith King with 2 lives.
Oh, ooh, that's a surprise.
Monkey picked into the Leshrac. You're a bit of a mid player yourself, Blitz. I mean, normally you think Monkey against melee heroes. What's the idea here, picking it into the Leshrac?
I think it's so you have a hero that doesn't get bursted and one that can make play, has play potential around the other 2 side lanes. I think it might be a little bit greedy. I almost felt like they wanted some sort of hero like Storm because it has good poke too. I guess Monkey can function in a similar fashion.
I think because Wraith King doesn't need the Empower in this game, they needed another melee core that benefits from the Empower.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see Newbee now. Last pick, they've got lots of reserve time to think about what their options might be. Almost certainly we'll see that CCNC mid Leshrac. These NA mids have been loving Leshrac this tournament, and they go for a Sven. Tried and tested. One of UR's classic heroes. Good Sven game?
Yeah, a lot of NA carries actually think that like Sven rips apart Wraith King. Although I've seen like twice now at this tournament it go the other way.
Depends how much kiting potential you have on actually both teams. How many saving abilities, how much support farm's gonna get into that play, getting one of the 4 staff, maybe even a Glimmer Cape.
Yeah, it is Sven into 3 melee cores as well, so that's going to feel really good.
Yes, but Sven feels the best to play against when there are no saves on one team. Just because you want the ability, this hero is a burst physical damage hero. You want to be able to get in, kill somebody immediately, and then reset the fight so that it's 4-on-5 for your team.
Yeah, but the Oracle, there is a save.
Yes.
So maybe making life a bit more difficult. Okay, well, those are our 2 drafts here for game number 1. We're about to help ourselves into the draft and the game. Before we do so, we're going to hear some final thoughts on how these 2 teams match up from the Haas.
This matchup features 2 of the best, in fact, the 2 best farming players at TI. Yawar and K1 Hector, the only 2 players averaging over 23K net worth at the 35-minute mark. Infamous, their laning phase has been the most aggressive at the tournament. Schofield's 4.4 assists per game at 12 minutes, the highest in the tournament. Whisper's 2.2 kills per game at 12 minutes, 3rd place behind Thompson and Sumail, and Chris Luck's 87 CS at 12 12 minutes, #1, just barely ahead of Sumail. To relieve the pressure, Newbee's counting on Elder Titan. He is 17-4 before the 35-minute mark, only 17-20 in games that go longer than that. And Snaking's axe is going to be key in this game. 7-1 over his last 8 games, 8.5 kills and 13.3 assists per game. An NA versus SA showdown with their TI9 lives on the line. Brought to you by an NA casting duo. Here are Lyrical and Trent.
Thank you so much, Nahaz. NA casting duo indeed, but there's a lot of love in the world for South America. They've shown up big, and I think even the crowd is getting behind them a little bit.
Yeah, there are boys too, right?
Yeah.
The whole Americas, we stick together. We gotta fight against, you know, Europe and China, these big, strong regions. So we stick together, right? We gotta hang out with our guys down there. So certainly a lot of respect, a lot of history with all of these players. We know them so well over the years from the region, and likewise, the same thing goes back and forth between them.
Absolutely. Well, and already into this game as Newbee facing off against Team Infamous. I gotta say that it's been really a revelation, I think, for a lot of people out there. And the panel talked it to death. Hector having an amazing year. I think that Newbee has looked revitalized as well. Both of these teams, I think, are coming in as a surprise, you know, potentially top 8 win. I don't know many people would have had them in their picks for that high of a placement early on.
No, certainly sounds pretty unlikely. Other than like the passionate fans, of
Right,
course, right? You know, you got yourself a little bit of like that TNC flavor when it comes to Infamous, where they just have like an entire region sort of on their back. It feels like they have to carry from there, but nice and fresh here, right in the mid lane. Chris Lock, he's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, he's laying down those little sprays. You got to find ways to tilt your opponents, if at all possible.
Goes for a ward check too, and oh my, what have I found here?
Yeah,
it would appear
realizes.
there's an observer ward.
I'm not sure if they're going to quite realize where the placement is, but I think that they might have an inkling, yeah. And again, for anybody that's wondering, you can't get the extra vision. Chickens racing themselves back to the fountain. CU gets out on top, but Newbee going to pick up 2 of the bounty runes. Looks like Infamous also going to be able to pick up 2.
Yeah, so the reason he brings out the courier like that is so he can guarantee the instant change to the courier so he gets back as fast as possible for the body block here. And this Chicken's putting in work.
Oh, yeah.
That is actually, the crowd are watching the same thing here. They're a little dismayed by the effort here by Chris Luck. And CCNC, the big block, but now it's under the tower.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate there for him. But yeah, Chris Luck, maybe a little bit of nerves on the big stage. Again, one of the earlier rounds for these teams. And obviously the furthest that a South American team organization player is made in the international.
So the draft's moving along there, and I have to say, I was getting a little concerned for Infamous. I did like the last pick in the Monkey King. I felt like the Ember was maybe going to be the option there, but perhaps Chris Luck just feeling more comfortable. You can see he's spammed quite a bit of Monkey King in his pubs, and maybe just the matchup versus the Leshrac can have some issues for the Ember if things get out of hand. So they're going to rely on that instead. But it does a lot of the same stuff. It's got a very long initiation range for when you're playing from these 4 hero group ups to give all that space to Hector to farm. So Chris Luck going to be looking to abuse that in power and give all the space in the world for his carry.
Nicely done, man. He is just laughing. That's not even all chat. That's just to himself. He's enjoying the playing here on the big stage.
I wonder if his teammates have him muted.
Well, we do see down here bottom a tri-lane versus a dual lane coming from Newbee, trying to absorb that pressure that's being placed onto them, onto Snaking, and Snaking already in a little bit of trouble as the Impale is going to come out, looking to try and find the finish. Highlight Eye, significant interruption. In fact, he turns on the Stinger, gets the refresh on the damage from his Spirit. It's almost enough to dodge through, trying to hide away in the trees. The Juke coming through another round. Stinger still in trouble, and looks like Pi, the great Impale coming from Schofield. They draw first blood. Stinger's still trying to run away and is barely able to make the escape. Oh, Stinger, he did it.
Oh, an instant tip there from Whisper. He's like, I know you guys are still busy down there, so I'll handle the tip for you. Very well played. I mean, I appreciate what Pi did, right? Because he saw all those heroes, and he just says to himself, yo, I can get myself an easy kill. So much damage, but with the body blocks, with the juking the trees, those spells come back off cooldown. And big saves there from the tri-lane from Infamous.
Now, most definitely. So it is still always a little bit of a funky thing because it's not just, you know, what is going on in the tri-lane as far as kills, but it's also how much farm are you getting. And Wraith King already 9.
Mid lane.
Chase forward, regen rune available. Who's going to go for it? Dodges away from the stun, able to walk his way out. And now CCNC in a lot of trouble. Does get the salve off, needs one more touch. But even if he doesn't get the kill, that's CCNC out of lane for a while. And
I feel like they're both losers in that one, though, right? Salve canceled, regen rune canceled. Just like, oh, I'm glad we can just both agree to just stay where we are here.
True enough. But I did want to go back to what you were talking about there, the Ember as opposed to the Monkey King as a potential option. The thing that I do like about the Monkey King is that I feel like it has maybe a bit more burst potential. If you can get those Jingu stacks up and possibly you know, throw out one of the Boundless Strikes, as you are just going to take a couple pot shots underneath the tower, courtesy of Whisper.
Yeah, and the burst can be kind of nice in combination with the Nyx Assassin too, right? He might be able to just help scout out for the Monkey King, pops the Vendetta damage into the stun, into the Boundless Strike, and maybe a double tap from an Echo Saber or something after that from Chris Luck, and can burst a lot of heroes with that.
Well, meanwhile, Snake King gonna take another Impale to the face. A lot of damage coming through. But Paladai able to be the one up in everybody's face, keeping Infamous back, putting too much pressure onto the off lane.
Yeah, stealing some of these last hits here too. Schofield forced to carapace that punch.
It's a fancy set he's got there. And now, moving back, Stinger, seeing if he can get some more pressure on. It's not an easy kill on the Axe, but it looks like they're kind of going for it again. The Stomp is going to interrupt it, and if nothing else, they're making Snake King's life difficult.
Yeah, still doing fairly well though. 15 last hits, and we haven't even talked about that top lane, but it's just been this 2v1 the entire time for Newbee. And they get a little bit of more harassed there on the Whisper. Gonna be tough to finish him unless, even with the Mango, it'll be close. MSS.
Getting up close and personal. Whisper there, you saw queued up the skewer, but canceled the animation afterwards, not wanting to go for it.
Snake King though.
Again, bottom. They're just bodying this guy, chasing him down. And Hector is taking a lot of damage from Pi, but no more mana, not another Spirit there for the Elder Titan, so he has to back out, and Hector's just going to solve up right in front of him.
Yeah, might have learned his lesson last time, right? Of getting too aggressive. Now for the bounty runes, though, they're already aggressive on the bottom. You got Whisper in position here as he picked up his bottle from the shop, and he wants that refill. Oh,
and you got to be careful walking over here. You might get cliffed. MSS going to play it safe, goes the other direction, and so far, so good for Infamous. What feels like are getting a nice little bit out of this laning stage, but need to be careful. Chris Luck in the mid, gonna take some of that Diabolic Edict, and CCNC thinking about diving for that.
Yeah, the wave's there though, so very unlikely you're gonna be able to find something. And CCNC also just a little concerned because those supports are missing, so he's just wondering, are they wrapping around me right now? What's going on? Paladai gonna come try and scout that out, but he will be spotted by an Observer Ward. And so Infamous do have information as to who could be helping in that mid lane. Oh, and his ward just got spotted too.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. Still the battle rages down bottom. But yeah, that ward will be scouted out by the one up on the high ground. And immediately Stinger walking over. Let's see if he gets that D ward. Yeah, and he's going to drop it down. So giving the damage over to Chris Luck, and CCNC looking to find a snipe, but not going to be able to get it there. As again, CCNC maybe in a little bit of trouble. The Boundless Strike, the Purifying Flames gets the kill. Have they gone in a bit too deep, Newbee, as they rotate in Schofield? Chris Luck, a lot of damage at this point as they're going to go for the jump forward, find the Impale, get themselves another round of kills. Man, Infamous are just cooking.
Yeah, hands kill over. Yeah, he had to take the first one with the level 2 Purifying Flames because that's what Oracle players do. But he can easily hand off Paladai. Now Chris Luck even gets a regen rune, although he doesn't necessarily need it. Still very high in resources. He heads back to that mid lane. That did cost the rotation from MSS, who has to go and soak the mid lane before CCNC can make the return there.
Well, and call me crazy, but I feel like it was Infamous that has tended to be very comfortable in the late game, and they're winning the early game. I mean, obviously, this is a bit of a different situation. Newbee have a lot of heroes that are very effective at providing support in the late game, but like already, Schofield moves in. Yeah, despite Carapace steals some last hits.
That's one way to get back into this game, right? Like finding stacks, and you're down 4 kills, but you can find other ways of growing your economy via the last hits in the lane. As you can see, they are leading on the side of Newbee, or also through these stacks, but scouting and stabbing some of that XP can be very helpful for a Nyx Assassin. He wants all the XP he can get. And now Paladai, well, I think you died here once before.
Uh-oh. Gotta be careful. So they jump forward again onto Pi. They have the Impale available, saving it as he's juking, but he's not going anywhere. They don't even need to throw the Impale.
No, I got the Orb of Venom. This guy just has a windlace, no boots, no real concern.
And This Monkey King has been a bit of a revelation so far.
All right, so what do you do when you're losing the kill battle like this? You just run to another...
Oh, gets him right on the edge! MSS also going to go down.
Yeah, they are rotating to try and kill Whisper, though.
And finding the kill indeed. CCNC there to get it. Back and forth across the map. 6 kills for Infamous to the 1 of Newbee as they get on the board.
Yeah, good rotation. What will matter will be like the tower pressure too, though, but they're already rotating in the Nyx. He's at a resource on CCNC, so it's a kill, but it's not a big loss or anything there for Infamous, because when it comes to Hector, they of course want to sacrifice everything they can for all of these towers because of how efficiently he uses the jungle and how helpful it can be to have those towers to rotate if Newbee R&D going to try and put pressure on this Wraith King.
Well, and that's one of the things that you really want to keep your eyes on is how quickly does that farm raise up for Mr. Hector, as he is going to be slept by Pylai Dai. No real chance for a kill. Instead, the kill is going towards the mid lane where they have found one. Monkey King very low and is going to go down. CCNC picking up that kill.
So that'll be some killing spree XP handed over as well there for the recovery of CCNC. Now ahead of the Monkey King in terms of experience, thanks to that.
To level 8 for him. And Hector, in the meantime, has just been living down here bottom, and he's thinking about chasing snaking into the trees.
Yeah, he's got this Observer Ward here, too, to help spot rotations in behind. And likewise, though, there are Observer Wards here from Newbee spotting out what Stinger's up to, so Snaking using these for optimal positioning underneath this tower to try and stay safe and try and absorb as many resources as he can. Up top, though, nice Hex. Should be an easy follow-up here for CCNC.
Yeah, it's all too easy. Farming while getting kills, that's what you want to see out of the mid player. CCNC would work.
Meanwhile, not again.
Oh God, Pi.
This is not for you, my friend. Get out of there.
And they do manage to get the Jingu stacks up while also getting the kill.
Do not enter. And no pies allowed.
Just gonna rotate bottom now. Yeah, Snaking needs to get the hell out of Dodge. Hector chasing in, see if he can find somebody, but nobody's home. And it's gonna be the trade-off of the tower, CCNC taking top, while simultaneously Infamous and K1 Hector pressuring at bottom tier 1.
Yeah, same thing with the Bandits, right? Just another trade-off because of the force positionings from the tower pushes. Now you got Whisper. He has the point here saved too, and now he has a bottled haste room. So potential for a nice kill with the early RP, something that can tend to be a little difficult.
Oh, this looks like a nice little stack stolen away by Infamous. So clearing out the jungle and now going to jump on a Snake King who has been kind of closed down on this entire game. And another round of Impale. Schofield doing so much on this Nyx Assassin, and now he's also got level 6.
Yeah, I would say it's surprising he only has 2 deaths on the Axe, considering the amount of pressure. He actually had a pretty good last hits there too, but still going to be a good target there. And needing a sleep from Pi. There's that haste.
Coming. He's coming for you, Pi. Just giving him the business all game long. And they have another round of Impales. Going to connect it, see if they can punch him down, skewer back underneath the cliff. And can they finish off this Elder Titan? Yes, indeed. Stinger's going to take that one.
Pylai is not exactly a stranger to this style of play. His name, of course, letting you know that for a fact. And he understands the mathematics, right? By far the lowest net worth in the team. He's half of that of the Oracle.
Ooh. This is kind of interesting here from Schofield. And could they make something happen?
Yeah,
they are
making
moving up.
Carapace play off this last creep, right?
See if he can find it. Carapace comes out. The Impale is going to connect, and the jump forward. Find the kill with the Primal Spring onto the Sven. Man, Infamous. They just know where Newbee's going to be. They're prepped.
Perfect. He's even keeping left a couple of the big creeps there versus Monkey King.
And the thing that the panel talked about was, this is the way Infamous play. 4v5,
Yep.
They're winning fights while Hector just keeps farming.
They are the vanguard. They play up ahead. They are across the river. And you go, where's Hector? And you just kind of draw a line between Newbee, and then where are the 4 players playing, and then extrapolate further. Oh, there's Hector. Far away from anyone messing with his patterns. Spamming the skellies, and oh, everything respawns. Here I go again.
He's back, another round of it. Gonna be about halfway to that Radiance now at just 12 minutes with Empower. I mean, he was already
what
farming
Whisper's
fast.
doing. He's just walking left and right in the mid lane, empowering Chris Luck on the right. Go farm some camps. I got some stacks over there for you. I'll have up some ancients, Chris Luck. Don't mind. Oh, where's my Wraith King? Then he walks over, gives Hector the Empower too. One job for Whisper, and if he can keep spamming out the mid lane at the same time, you've got 3 cores farming excellently for Infamous.
And how did Newbee deal with this at this point? Because it does feel like they're getting their jungle invaded, and they haven't really been able to respond.
Well, that's a good play, right? They do take the mid tower. That's going to help close out some of these areas, give some opportunities for ganks from the side of Newbee, and they're still waiting for Yawar to really get somewhere. He's close to the Echo Save, then he's going to be looking for a BKB after that. Their initiation will be reliant upon Snaking, who is not that close to the Blink Dagger, but he'll be working on it in that bottom lane.
If he can get into that item, obviously start to take some fights, and if you win those 4v5s, that's when things feel a lot better. But right now, CCNC go for the walk around, gonna get caught out. The edict is there, and I think Chris Luck realizes it's time to let my support die.
Yeah, no potential save there from Chris Luck. He lets him go. But that Monkey King right below Hector, also very close to Yawar though, in terms of the net worth. He is a scary guy if he wants to start playing with Schofield. Schofield being spotted by that Observer Ward in the top lane too though, so this is giving some freedom to Newbee right now, right? Where they can, you know, as a Nyx assassin, you're trying to play off map. You don't want to be seen, you want to be giving this threat of the Vendetta, and every time he walks past this ward, it's just like one more camp for a Newbee hero.
And you can see that Nyx assassin just maxing out the Spike Carapace, knowing his job in this game, as it does look like Infamous again gonna play together, farm up camps. He's actually stacking right now Whisper, even the small camp, to get whatever extra farm he possibly can.
They're coming with a Sentry. They know that Schofield's coming in here.
This would be a nice pickup for them. Looks like they're just a little bit too late. He was going for the courier snipe there.
Yeah, that Observer Sentry combo that he's got as well, keeping him safe in that area. So now they've managed to get past the Nyx assassin, but they run into the skeletons, and that's going to protect Hector.
Need to go for the smoke up play if you want to try and find that Wraith King. But not simple in the least bit.
Schofield waiting for this courier. He's going to run out of the Vendetta soon. He still hasn't spotted anyone else here.
Oh, this would be really nice if he could get it. I mean, he's going to go right by the ward. I think this is going to be a courier kill.
No, he's not going to damage. He's lost it.
He lost the Vendetta. Okay. Yeah. Well, 40 seconds, and that will be the end of it. But back towards the jungle. Snake King gonna try and clear through these waves, and again, Newbee just kind of going AFK farming, but Infamous are farming faster.
They got the Yules here on Schofield.
Spike Carapace afterwards.
That was nice. Forcing the Carapace before the stomp.
Yeah, so now Hector showing up and realizes, okay, can't do this, gotta back out, and give up the death of my Nyx assassin another round.
Now we get two heroes being surrounded here by Snaking MSS, but they're able to waltz their way on out of there, perhaps because Chris Luck's just a little bit terrifying right now.
Well, you can see right now 61% into the favor of Infamous. Dota Plus feeling it, but the big thing to me is it just feels like Newbee haven't really made that many moves. If they do manage to take a fight, possibly you can make something happen, although Hector now has the Radiance.
Yeah, they've kind of gotten over that early hurdle that I was a bit concerned about for their lineup in terms of just like the wave clear being a little bit weak for Infamous. They've done a very good job of keeping the power spread from Whisper, which is certainly helping, right? They're both farming up camps and trying to push out these lanes, but you've got a support duo that can't clear waves. You got an off laner in the Magnus that's a little bit vulnerable when he's going for that too. Especially with these longer initiation ranges of like the Axe, and then the Leshrac always going to have that Yule Scepter. Infamous playing extremely well so far. They only have a 1K lead right now, so it's nothing too serious. That should start to grow a little bit here with Hector. And now he's building into the Blade Mail by the looks of it, as well as finishing out his Magic Wand. So ready for combat soon.
Schofield's been playing this so well. Breaks the smoke onto Pile Die. They're going to be able to see that all the heroes up there. And God, are they going to try and take this fight? They have a DD onto Chris Luck. This could be an opportunity for them. Thinking about going in with the Wukong's command onto absolutely everybody. A lot of damage out. Schofield able to walk away and Snaking. Not so lucky. CCNC now out of mana and going to be out of life. It happened so quick.
Yeah, the double stack there too, right? They called and hexed the Oracle at the same time, so now you're essentially just missing out on one of your spells because of that. And you have to target on the Oracle because you go for someone else. Of course, the save's going to be there, but great follow-up there from Infamous. They got stuns, right?
Oh,
Wraith King stun, Nyx stun, Boundless Strike from the Monkey King, as well as that RP and Skewer when you need it. So you no shortage of control elements here from Infamous, and they know when their timing is. They know how to play around this Radiance. It is their playstyle, as BSJ pointed out.
Now, one of the best answers for Leshrac in the game, just pick up a Blade Mail for the Wraith King, giving them so much fight potential. Snake King does have that blink. He's got the ability to jump in And maybe gonna look for Chris Luck here. And no, Hector, he's in the middle of him, actually breaking the Blink Dagger. They will kill off Stinger, but now, how do you deal with this big bad Wraith King? He just turns to fight, gonna pop the Blade Mail as well. You are already in that God Strength. He's killing them all off, still has the ultimate afterwards. Now Schofield in the Vendetta does have the break potential if he wants to go for it, but the Hex is already out. And now the stun coming from UR, but the RP, it comes as well. Where's the follow-up? Do they have enough damage? It looks like the answer might be maybe, possibly. CCNC super low, and Chris Luck able to live through it all.
And Whisper coming in with the big RP save for the boys. Chris Luck and Hector getting out. Could possibly hand over a couple tips. I'm just saying, the guy got you out of a complete pickle there in the mid lane, and it's gonna help secure that mid tower with the skeletons.
And again, it's less mattering that, you know, you lost a couple of heroes, the Magnus, the Nyx. The big thing, you took down UR. Like, in that fight, so key.
And his Midas is, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see Pimp, same brain. I knew where he was going with that one. That one always hurts.
Well, 4,000 gold lead now after that fight mid for Infamous. And you can see here in the replay.
A beautiful Hex there too from MSS. He caught the Nyx coming in invis, and that boom! Whisper says, not my carry. Get off my guys. And turns a very dangerous situation into salvation for Infamous.
As we saw there, the Culling Blade from Snaking able to save a little bit, because it looked like if he didn't finish off that kill onto the Mag, they would have lost pretty much everything. But still, Newbee getting a little bit shook here 19 minutes into the game with Infamous. Pretty
They're getting back on the horse, though. They got a couple heroes up top here, right? You got Snaking and UR playing together. That 20-minute bounty room coming up soon. Perhaps a battle up here, and then you get this question of Hector in terms of his availability. Currently, his TP is ready. Will that be the case? It seems like he's like, you know what, guys? I am ready to fight. You can be graced with my presence. I won't TP from camp to camp. I can actually join you. Royalty, it comes down from the tower every once in a while.
Schofield down on the low grounds. Who does he spot? He can break Blink Daggers if he so desires, or you're Infamous. They jump in, able to find him. They saw him the whole time. Chris Luck pops the BKB, still sticking around. The Impale comes through onto two, and now the Wukong's command. They're all stuck in the trees. They get pulled back in by Whisper, even further inside. They do drop down the Serpent Wards, but is it going to be enough? Oh my God, that was a lot of damage. And now they caught Chris Luck, but now Hector's here. Is he going to be able to make the play? They have the false promise to keep the Monkey King alive for the moment, still taking a ton of damage, and Hector turning on his Snake King, trying to kill him off. They will be able to run him down one by one. Infamous do it.
I'll help my weak and puny allies, as those Wraith King players do.
And unreal that Monkey King was able to live. He came out on like 400, 500 HP.
Yeah, I thought he was gone for sure. The snakes just kept on pelting him the entire time during the false promise. But Hector just strolls his way from the mid lane with some swagger. Gets them another tier 1 now for Infamous. All the way up to a 7K lead at the moment, and we still have Roche to consider.
7,000 net worth lead right now for Infamous.
When he shows up so late to the fight like this and you're still losing, that's a very bad sign for Newbee. Good positioning there, of course, from the Oracle, right? He's not getting targeted early on this time. Chris Luck perfectly done with the Boundless Strike too. That bonus damage from Whisper.
I mean, we're talking about Hector making all these plays, but it's the rest of Infamous too that are making the saves. They're, you know, last second there, Stinger almost getting controlled before he was able to get that false promise out.
I mean, Hector's just walking in here when everything's on cooldown, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, this is what they do. They know how to play around it.
Unreal. And you can see he's feeling pretty good about himself right now. It's tension in the booth right this moment for Newbee. Schofield, will he be able to get CCNC?
This is a very difficult game to try and turn. It's by no means over because they have all this wombo combo. They have the big plays coming in the late game. Of course, that's where Snaking tends to shine. Is making those decisions, getting those big pickoffs for his squad. But it's a sizable advantage at this point for Infamous. There's no doubt about that.
Definitely has that feeling right now. And like you said, Newbee, they've made a lot of comebacks in this tournament.
That's true.
You know, you think about the group stage, there were multiple Mega Creep comebacks for them, and we're not even close to that stage yet. They still got tier 2 towers up and online.
They have very good heroes for the pit, too, which tends to be what we start revolving our game around past the 20-minute mark, right? It's just like, can someone get an edge? Are they going into Roche? As he takes a swat at a Monkey King who flies by, almost got him. But you got the Elder Titan, you got the Leshrac with the AoE stun, you got the Axe, the Sven, everything for the Roche fight. But likewise, you can just count as many spells inside of Infamous that are very good there too.
You can see here as well the soldiers being left behind as Monkey King has picked up that Aghanim Scepter after the BKB.
Yeah. So wave clear is still a thing that was identified in the Infamous lineup as being a slight hope, right?
They're just going high ground.
Yeah, and that's what the question is going to be. Is if you can defend high ground right here from Newbee, you might get back into this game just by virtue of, like, okay, we pushed them off, and the other two lanes are pushing in our favor. They've dropped the snakes down bottom.
Dude, they didn't even take rush. They're just going up here. They're like, screw it, guys. We're going and taking your buildings. Newbee, what's the response? They take a tier 1 tower, but it doesn't feel like they have an answer for this. Early pressure be damned.
Oh, you are. He can't TP either. Schofield's chasing them in the bottom lane. That's the issue.
And they are not going to be able to come back and deal with this, so the chase forward possibly for more. TP's coming in now. Infamous, you got to be careful. Can't step too far forward. Call while simultaneously hitting on the stomp, but the Blade Mail doing a live damage back onto CCNC, almost taking him down. Chrislock going to be healed back up by that ulti, and now turn on to MSS. They find themselves another. MSS goes down, and Infamous just going to jaunt their way out of here.
They're going to try and cut them off here. 2 TPs to the Shrine.
But the Wukong's command. Chrislock pump faking it. CCNC, he gets the Yule Scepter lift up. They can't TP out now. They have to fight. Infamous, is this going to work for them? They have the Wukong's command down. CCNC is dying. He's done. He does have buyback. Might need to use it because Yawar is dead too. He doesn't have buyback for a minute. Oh my God, the triple kill from Hector, and now Chrislock looking for more. They're gonna force this buyback and feeling like it's their moment. They get the RP, they find the follow-up kill onto Snaking. If they can manage to get it, does he manage to get away? Still running, he does escape. Now the stomp coming in, Chrislock, boundless strike, trying to live, and he does. Takes down Snaking, 88 seconds dead. And then now Infamous, they're pulling in with the rest of the heroes. They know he doesn't have buyback.
Man, Whisper, this guy. I mean, we talk about the Oracle being the save. I think it's Whisper this game. Always looking out for the big number 1 and number 2. He's a distant third. He's a third of the net worth of the Wraith King in this game. But he's doing everything he can to keep them up.
Whisper keeping the hopes of Infamous alive and well in this elimination match. The sole representative from Bolivia in this tournament.
Man, can you believe that this Hector guy is really good at Wraith King? I mean, I did not think they'd be playing Wraith King. I really didn't. I thought, like, once the first phase they didn't take it, I was like, okay, well, that seems like a pretty likely ban. You know, the guy seems all right, but I think they went for the know your enemy play, right?
Oh my God.
They went for this idea of, okay, we know how Hector plays. They're not idiots, right? They understand what the guy's trying to do. They didn't really pick any mana burn to maybe try and make that an issue pre-20 minutes if they got into a fight. And they just did knock it out of the lanes in a state where they could abuse the fact that they had the Shadow Shaman wards, they had the Edict. I think they were trying to go for this like early game push and take away a lot of that farm space from Hector. It didn't happen. And then you had Chrislock empowered, he's farming camps. You had Hector empowered, he's doing the same thing. And Whisper's just shoving out the mid lane and farming there as much as he can with the Shockwave. So Infamous, they just do it again.
Infamous showing up on the big stage. This team is no joke, ladies and gents. You got to plan for them, prepare for them, and even then, they might still beat you. Let's head on back to the panel, hear what they thought about that game number 1.
South America's finest have shown us a great form. If you were in any doubt whatsoever that they have what it takes to make the top 8, I think those doubts may have been expunged by now. Gents, that was an impressive performance and a kind of mentally breaking performance as well for Newbee. We didn't get a chance to talk about it before game, but you know, we wondered, didn't we? We talked about it in the green room. Could Newbee bounce back from that crushing defeat against OG, or could they put it out of their mind? That's a tough loss.
That's a real tough loss. I mean, that was pretty much what I saw, at least. 2 players from Infamous just dismantled all of Newbee, right? We saw Chrislock and Schofield just running around the map and killing everyone, while Hector just does exactly what Brian was mentioning pretty much the entire time on the panel. TPing and farming as much as possible, and then they just took over the whole map. It was really painful to watch if you're a Newbee supporter.
Yeah, how did it bounce back after that?
I don't know if they do. I mean, the obvious answer is ban the Wraith King.
Right.
You know, he's getting this hero that we've seen in the group stage that he is remarkable on. As you said yourself, Samael, the top pros in the game are looking at Hector, obviously for reasons other than the hero, but a large part of it is the games that he's on Wraith King.
Right.
It's remarkable, and he's got to be one of the best Wraith Kings in the world right now.
What I love about Dota
is we've seen other teams try Wraith King, and it doesn't feel like most of them have very much success. And I think Infamous, people are saying, have they proven themselves, stop sleeping on them? I think if they got Wraith King every game, they could make like top 3 at TI. I'm not even kidding. They've taken games out of the best teams in the tournament. I think they are day and night difference with this hero, because it's not just Hector, right? I'm not saying Hector can only play Wraith King. The entire style of the team is based around the way that this carry hero plays. And I just want to give a brief shout out. I think Schofield might be the best Nyx player in the world. I think it's insane to watch him play Nyx. And nobody else makes it work, going off the point that every other team's picking Wraith King. Nobody's picking Nyx for a reason, and then somehow he just game changer with that hero.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've still got plenty more to talk about here at the International, but things are just getting quite spicy here in the arena. Maybe not as spicy, though, as when Fogged and Owen got together to try some hot wings.
Keep them warm. Share body heat.
I don't know. I'm smelling something funky over here, and I'm a little worried.
Fogg, you're kind of sweating right now. I'm getting a little worried about you.
I'm anxious. I'm anxious for this one.
Owen, a lot of spice in Britain land?
No, as a Brit, I've had my fair share of good tikka masala down the chippy, and so I feel this is going to be pretty easy.
Okay, fantastic. It's an easy town, no big deal. Take a big bite. I want to see this whole thing go, boys. Here we go.
That was all right.
That's pretty good. I'm a mess right now, but...
No? Owen, I heard that you wanted to be a musician when you were growing up. In fact, I got a great picture here I'd like to share of you in the old times.
Wow, yeah, me and
practicing.
My dad's bass guitar there, yeah. I was the coolest kid in the school as well, because I saved up and I bought a keytar. So, I mean, you know what it is, right? There's this thing you're wearing around your neck. And honestly, I was irresistible, I'm sure.
I'm licking my fingers.
No, look at you. I told you guys, you're going to be fine.
I'm sweating my ass off already.
Fogg, I want to know about your childhood. When did you start getting into video games? And I especially want to know about Battle of Olympus, I believe it was called,
on
the NES.
What is that?
It was a game that was, okay, that one's building up a little bit, but it's just a sweat. It's a sweat. Okay. Battle of Olympus was a game on,
Well, you're suffering. What's wrong? These weren't even that hard.
I shouldn't have licked my fingers, I'll be a little honest right now.
What's up with you?
He did look like a badass.
I licked all my, I licked every single thing, but it's fine, continue.
You've handled it very well, but it's go time. Okay. This is the big boy.
That one looks really red. All right. Oh yeah, it's unpleasant. Immediately.
Oh, that's nice. It's got like a almost licoricey sort of aftertaste.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the sweat's gonna drip in my eye. I'll have some milk.
It's okay, Fogg. Get that milk, buddy.
That one has the most flavor. It's the nicest of them all so far.
What is happening right now?
Guys, I got this little friendship bowl here. This is the laning partner bowl. Owen?
Am I going in?
You seem to be fine. Hit it up.
What was the last thing? It was a bit hot. Oh, I just breathed on my hand and bounced into my eye. What was the last thing? Oh no, my tears. They're hot as well. Ow, it's got in my eye. What was the last thing I did that actually made you mad?
Me?
No, what was the last thing Owen did that actually made you mad, Fogg?
Yeah, he just feeds and goes. He goes multi-battle fury on Sven. That's pretty bad. That gets me kind of annoyed. I think when he kills Aegis, when we're losing games.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do that.
Yeah, that's probably a good one. I need to refill.
Okay, can we get some more,
You should stop playing Invoker, because you're horrible at it. You don't know the spell combos.
I have a 27% win rate. Over about 50 games.
Still trying though, right? It's getting better?
I win the lane. I win the lane.
He walks into lane, he doesn't even have the orbs on yet. He doesn't even invoke a spell.
If you would like to, put a little bit of extra on the top.
Yeah, no.
Just
I'll pass.
I'm shaking.
Oh, that's a big box.
You've got the pain in you. Tell me.
Oh, shit.
Best game you ever casted together and worst game you ever casted together. Hit me.
Oh, God, I can't even think of that. Oh, shit. It was DAC All-Star match, and I was absolutely abysmal. It was by far my worst cast.
Best one?
Best game?
Seb.
I have a game for.
Yep.
TIA Grand Finals was obviously, for many reasons, a great one.
Let's tap it out.
Please do.
Let's do it, gentlemen. We did it.
That was a lot of
Minute
fun.
that milk. Woo, here we go.
I liked it.
And we'll see you next time for some more spicy wings
Never again.
and spicy questions.
Never
See you
again.
next time. Thank you.
Someone's gonna take care of me. Yeah. Come here, Jake. I'm gonna kill you.
Oh my goodness.
That actually didn't show the extent of my pain. I'll be totally honest with you.
Really?
I was literally like,
aren't you supposed to be the more Latin of the two of you? I mean, the guy's, he's born in London. He's eating English food for crying out loud.
surprised. I
He
thought
should
he'd
be able to
handle
cope
it.
with that level of spice.
licking my fingers was the biggest mistake ever. Even though that second one, you think it's not spicy, when you lick all the pure spice off,
Yeah.
Nice.
You got to be careful. So I didn't
Big
wash my
mistake.
hands properly, and
Really?
I had some issues
You had,
later
a
in the
bit,
day.
you had a bit of blowback off the hand as well. At one
yeah.
point, burnt your eye.
Blowback off me everywhere. It got spicy. It got spicy that evening. Not in a good way. Not in a good way. No.
Has Shiva let you back into the room yet? Or?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, okay, good stuff. Brian, you want to do one of those?
As of now, I'll take a rain check, but
Yeah.
my favorite part of the whole thing was seeing Fogged in like physical agony, while also mental agony, describing the multi-battle furies and the invoker mids. Like the combination here is like this is agony in its purest form, and Dota players, we love it. We love to see that.
it makes it so hard for you to think.
Yeah.
The heat hits you, and you're just like, oh, you have this. You're trying to say it, but it won't come out. Your tongue's just like it's just stuck. That type of heat. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I'm embarrassed, but it's okay.
All right.
I survived.
Good. Are we able to bring in our draft panel momentarily and just say hi very quickly? Gents, I see you over there. Look at that going, ha, ha, ha. Are any of you doing this challenge?
No, I don't.
No,
I would
not
do
now.
it.
Not now.
Will do it.
Will could do it.
Would you do it? Would you do it with Cap?
I would do it. I think
Yeah?
that'd be fine.
I think Will would be fine.
Would
I
Cap beat you? Would Cap go all the way and you not go all the way? Or would you?
No, I think he actually handles spice really well too.
Does
I think
he?
we'd both do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, we could do it.
Gods?
I'd be fine. I'm good with spice.
You all right with spice?
I mean, I don't know about that. That's a whole new
I would
level,
not
though.
be able to reach 12,000, I don't think.
Your spice MMR is not that high?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
There was something with like salt and pepper on it at lunch, and Lacoste was like, "This is spice." I'm like, "I'm pretty sure it's just salt and pepper. That's just seasoning."
All right, guys. We're going to head back to the next game very shortly. We should look forward to them as well. They're going to be out in just a minute or so. Lots to talk about for Newbee backstage, Brian, right now. What are they going through?
Just ban the Wraith King and make your game simple. Like I'd come back in the OG series, they gave OG Wisp the first game. They're like, well, we thought we could deal with it, and crap, we couldn't deal with it. Yeah, let's like stop trying to impress ourselves or prove to whatever they're trying to prove.
I mean, go back to playing what they were doing in the group, right?
Yeah, they're a good
They
team.
played well.
Yeah, you just have to mentally drop that game and say we're going to ban the Wraith King and we're going to play normal Dota, and it has to be good enough. And if it's not, there's nothing you can do about it at this point.
I mean, do you think that mental part of the game now becomes a factor because of the stomping they got from OG in those two games? You could kind of put that in your mind away. Go, it's OG. They've been doing it to everyone. But now you've lost game one here as well. It's kind of like that's going to add fuel to that fire, isn't it?
I think so. And I think at the same time, Newbee would have come into this series not necessarily underestimating Infamous. As we saw, they did well in groups. They knew that it was going to be tough. I think there's veterans on the team. There's every reason to believe that Newbee can swing the series back round.
Teams coming back out into the arena for game number 2. Infamous from South America doing exceptionally well right now against all odds. They are one game ahead of their opponents, Newbee. It's going to be tough for both teams as they enter those booths when we head into our second game draft. Before we get there though, let's check in with Casey.
Snaking and MSS. Good to see you guys.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
I'm just going to start with this. Your manager, Jack, came in.
Yes.
And a lot of times this happens, and they say, hey, just, be nice to my guys.
Of course.
Jack came in and said, really go in on them.
What can I say? That's our manager.
And not the greatest.
What is Jack like as a manager?
He's a big goon, honestly. Normally you expect a lot of professionalism from your manager, some sort of guidelines for your players, but he's actually just one of us. He's just a goon as a manager.
He's one of the boys.
Yeah.
He's one of you guys. Yeah. It is interesting that you're now Newbee. So can you walk me through how that happened? Because you were with Forward Gaming, you qualified for TI, and then suddenly you found yourselves headed to TI without an umbrella organization behind you.
After Ford dropped us, a lot of organizations actually reached out to us, and it was just simply Newbee just was the most attractive.
A big part of it was Newbee is a Chinese-based organization, especially in Shanghai, and with TI being in Shanghai this year, it made the most sense that picking a Chinese organization as prestigious as Newbee was the right choice.
Yeah, we're also TI4 champions now.
Apparently. Representing.
There's a roster of players who might disagree with you on that.
Of course.
Do you feel that sense of pressure to play for the organization that does have such deep roots here in China, since TI9 is in China?
Like, I don't feel much pressure, but I do feel like I actually played better since we got Newbee, so maybe the pressure is making me play better, You never know.
Get under pressure, what can I say? I definitely have some home roots to China as well. I was born here. It's definitely kind of crazy that how I started as an American team this year and then it somehow ended up back to my roots.
What do you both want to say about the roots of Dota 2 in China? It means a lot, I would imagine, to the fans and the players in this community to have it in their backyard for the first time ever.
I mean, I would say it's pretty well-deserved. They're definitely, one of the big reasons why Dota 2 is still, growing and popular.
I mean, the Chinese are huge Dota fans, and we're kind of, jumped on the Chinese boat, so we're going to ride off maybe some of the fans' hype.
Yeah, I'm curious if you think that everybody who is filling the stadium is going to cheer for Newbee, given that it's a different squad.
I hope they do.
I mean, I hope they do. Probably a lot will depend on the results, and if we do well at this stage, I'm sure the fans will cheer for us.
Last year at TI8, VGJ Storm, so you played there together. Snaking, you were with Team Dignitas at TI3, MSS with Mouse Sports at TI4. So what has changed the most for you, and how have you changed as a player?
It's hard to say. I think I just got better.
You would hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. No, my first TI, there was, a lot of nervousness and, pressure, I would guess. But once you start playing at TI, you kind of get used to it. And if you can keep calm when you're playing at TI, you perform way better. So as long as your team has a good mood, it raises the performance a lot.
He's smiling just listening to you.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, in TI3, when I played for Dignitas, that team was probably the most toxic team I've ever played on. So it kind of built off of Mojo. Over the years, I kind of learned how to be able to talk with your teammates in a better tone. And all these things that are not skills you learn inside the game really, per se, but they're really helpful.
And now here we are at TI9, and as you said, you hope you're better than you were. But is there anything, let's just even talk about TI8. Anything stand out when you think back to that you think, okay, yeah, I'm not doing that again, or no, that definitely worked?
Come on, OG series?
No,
there were so many mistakes.
No. Oh, no, there's a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
I actually don't know how we got top 8. I actually don't know how we got top 8.
Oh, man.
There's so many mistakes. It's not even just us. It was everybody at TI. There's so many mistakes that happen. So as long as you're the team that's making the fewer mistakes,
right,
you're golden.
Well, it also sounds like if you have the ability as a team to regroup after those mistakes. What has worked for you?
You have to be able to learn how to move past your mistakes during the game, because if you dwell on these mistakes your teammates or yourself made during the game, it's not going to help you in the present and in the near future. And you just got to be able to reflect upon it afterwards.
What are you most looking forward to? What part of TI9?
I mean, hopefully we play in the grand finals. That would be pretty
nice. Might be hoisting this little. Well, it's not little. It's very heavy. I tried picking it up.
Is it actually heavy?
I guess we'll find out. Of course.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you both the best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Plenty of work still to do for those two boys, and they are up against it as we head towards game number 2 between Newbee and Infamous. Draft just around the corner.
Newbee versus Infamous. Game 2.
Infamous have shocked the world with some of their results here at TI already, and they're looking to continue the surprises here, up 1-0 against Newbee.
Whew. I'm not even surprised anymore, to be honest, because they are playing so well. They might end up actually going to top 3 if they continue playing like this for sure. They need to address this problem called Hector rate game. They need to ban it. I think they need to ban it out straight in the first phase.
They didn't.
I think you keep letting it through. Newbee should find out what every other team have found out so far. Keen learned it the hard way. EG learned it the hard way. And now it's Newbee's turn.
What did those teams learn? That you ban it, or?
Oh, no, you just keep letting it through and find out what Hector can do with it.
So you're learning through losing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Brian always says. Like, I'm either winning or I'm learning.
I'm not sure if Newbee is saving strats for TI-10. If they are, you know, they might need a new coach.
I mean, it's time to get your best strat right now. Like, this is the time.
Yeah, I mean, this is elimination for Newbee. They drop down from the winner bracket and find themselves on the brink here, but it's not a first 2 ranking. I think that's something Infamous have at least been somewhat consistent about. They like to prioritize getting some of their 3-4 positions in the first picking stage, or at least picking up one of those flexible heroes like Kunkka that can play both mid as well as off lane.
Yeah, I really like the way that Infamous drafts because I feel like they're making it easy for their team to play around. They work around the core concept. They all play the same 3 or 4 heroes. They actually remind me of like OG of last year, where they simplify Dota for themselves. And that's such a scary thing when you have a lot of other teams that overthink, that try to purely outdraft, try to counterpick. You have this Infamous squad that's like, no, we're good. We're going to play what we want to play.
I love their confidence, the way they're walking on the stage. It feels like they don't care what happens. They don't care what you're going to pick. We're going to play our own game and we're going to win.
Yeah, they have cat ears on. Can we talk about that for a second? How do you guys feel if you walked on stage and your opposing teams come up with cat ears? Is that not intimidating?
It's like the reverse, you know, when Secret came in with the sunglasses.
Yeah.
TI5, it's like that.
But it's actual confidence. Sunglasses, like, oh, you know, they're making up for something. But
at the same time, I don't think Newbee is out of it quite yet. I feel like this is still a very gifted squad. During the group stage, they were so good. They had the misfortune of running into that OG squad, where, you know, OG flipped a coin. And unfortunately, it landed in a rough position for them. But this is still a talented squad. This is where you need to dig deep, try to ignore the other games where you've been blown out.
Yep. All right, so with this Nyx Assassin pick, they were trying to bait the Newbee into picking Lesh once again. A lot of uncontrollable damage. Nyx Assassin good for setting things up, especially with the X mark, even though Schofield played extremely well in game number 1, moving around the map. You don't expect Nyx Assassin to set up so many early kills because it's hard. You're basically one stun. That's all you are.
Yeah, I am so surprised at how well their laning phase went. I looked at the heroes. I thought it would go okay, but the fact that they started like 4-0 to begin the game, that was kind of crazy for me.
What's the idea behind the Omni Knight pick? What do you guys feel? Is this just Newbee switching things up a bit?
I think it's really nice actually against like both the heroes that are picked up. When I have seen Omni in this tournament, he looks really strong. It's just hard to kill. He allows you to just like continue to run in. It's a sustain hero against a hero like Kunkka, where I feel like the Coco's Rum is so hard to deal with. But if you have a hero like Omni Knight, being able to GA reset a fight is so important.
One of the few classic offlane heroes who has GPM talent built in, so he's always going to get his items and he can reset the fight so easily. Every time I've seen Omni Knight, he looked extremely good and pretty hard to take down in a team fight.
Yeah. And I mean, in that scenario, if you're dragging out a fight against Kunkka, the run wears off, suddenly everyone's taking that extra damage and the fight looks a lot easier. We'll see what Infamous get now going to the next stage in response to Omni Knight. When we talk about Newbee, you know, stepping up in game 2, going for, you know, their best strats, their comfort picks. Is there any individual player you feel like needs to, you know, put this team on their back or whatever, or at least, you know, really play better to stand out as far as Newbee is concerned?
Pilot I had 0-5-0 at one point. Usually he's the one who dies the most. even though he is position 5, I think he needs to lower the deaths, especially early on, because he does not have boots early on, especially on the hero like an Elder Titan, which is crucial, so you want to set things up with the Spirit.
For me, it's King. You know, that's what all the North American Dota players call him. Not even the King, just, you know, King. He needs to step up because when they have been successful, it's been on his shoulders. If you recall during the NA quals, when he got that crucial solo kill that just sort of broke the spirits of VGJ Storm when he catches Mu off one-on-one, like this guy, throughout the year, I feel like has really elevated his performances. And remember how bad this squad looked before he rejoined? I feel like he is sort of the linchpin for their team. He might not be their best player, but I feel like he's their most important player.
Okay. Well, here's a look at some of those heroes he's played. Beastmaster and Axe. He's going to be on the Omni Knight this game. Not something he's played a whole lot of, but the 2 wins there, at least under Newbee's belt. And Infamous, again, going to go with the Oracle, that 5 position, giving them that save, giving them also a Dispel against Omni Knight, something you kind of have to be looking at whenever you're playing against Omni because of how powerful Guardian Angel is in team fights.
And Infamous is looking for these prolonged team fights with the boat, with the Oracle ulti. They can sustain so much, go back into a fight even after 25, 30 seconds.
Where did this hero come from? Wind Ranger, that was like a moment of silence where... Are we seeing CCNC play this? Is there a chance of a support Wind Ranger?
Position 4 Wind Ranger is really viable because she scales with the items. The only thing you need to buy early on is kind of Javelin if you're having a good laning exchange. It's the same principle as when you're playing Pango position 4. Once you get to that, you can easily transition into being the 4th core of a team.
Yeah. I like it, as a 4th position, you've got Omni as an offlane. He doesn't bring some of the conventional things out of the offlane. Normally you're looking at stuns, initiation, team fight. Omni has the team fight aspect of the, the heals and the GA, but Wind Ranger brings something the Omni doesn't, which is that initiation, that lockdown of Shackle Shot to the table.
Right now, Newbee's lineup's really vulnerable to any elusive heroes because they don't have a guaranteed stun. Shackle Shot and Elder Titan Stomp is really hard to get off in a team fight. And the Brewmaster pickup, this is what I like, even though we've seen only a couple of Brew picks, it also brings a lot of team fight, and you have a hero who can control this Omni Knight, and he is gonna bring Newbee's lineup together. Like, you want to have that Guardian Angel off in a fight, multiple heals and the second abilities, but with the Brewmaster, he's gonna be the one controlling that Omni.
Yeah, plus I think right now he can't really get bursted by any of these heroes.
Yeah, like that as well.
1+1 right now on any of Newbee's heroes, I don't think they can go 2-man gank this Brew. I could very easily see him have a really nice laning phase. For Newbee, I'd like to see like another form of catch, whether it's kind of hard because I think with the Kunkka pick, what that was really trying to dissuade was actually the Ember Spirit. That was TNC's counter 2 to the Ember. I think the idea is they don't want CCNC to play a hero like that, where it's just difficult to catch out and it extends the game. So you first 2 this Kunkka, and you have this Nyx in your back pocket too, that just gets rid of like a large amount of CCNC heroes. Because when I think of CCNC heroes, I think of like these in-damage dealing cores. So they do take the OD. You are picking it into the Nyx, which I think is a little bit annoying. It's very easy to set up stuns. So whenever he casts the Astral, you can wait around the area. You can always counter that. But it is a really nice lane matchup against the Kunkka, and it's a save against the X combo.
Yeah, often the case playing against Nyx is you rule out all of these int mids that you just don't want to be picking, or even some heroes like the Ember Spirit you mentioned, but those are the heroes that suit CCNC best. And I think Newbee's saying, well, we're playing against Nyx, but we still just got to pick these heroes because that's what suits our style.
Yeah, it's actually really nice against all of Infamous's heroes. If you look at it, it's just kind of annoying to play against the Nyx. But everybody else, I think 3 out of 4 is good enough to pick up that hero.
It is extremely good against Oracle. If he pops the ulti on someone, you're going to be just free intelligence for OD, and they have multiple layers of save right now in Newbee. You have this Omni Knight, you have Astral to rely on, so we're going to see a lot of these prolonged team fights for sure.
Once again, Newbee will be saving their last pick for Yawar's hero, as we saw last game, but it's going to be Infamous with the final pick of the draft this time around. Infamous looking for that Hector hero. Wraith King not panned out, guys. Is it a Wraith King game? Is every game a Wraith King game when it comes to Infamous?
I sort of feel like it's a rough Wraith King game, but then you know, whatever, just like pick it up.
Yeah. OD has been one of the traditional hard counters.
I mean, they banned out anti-mage, so it could imply that they're going to go for Wraith King once again, even though it might be a bit harder in this game because of OD's mana steal.
And you're against OD, Omni, plus Wind Ranger, like 3 heroes that he doesn't easily burst down. But, you know, Hector's just going to do Hector.
Well, we'll find out that last ban and pick here from Newbee soon. Is there either team that you feel is drafting themselves in a more stable position that you feel more confident about so far?
I'd say Newbee's lineup is a bit harder to pull off because you need to land the Shackle Shot, you need to land this Elder Titan stun, and they go for Lifestealer. Right now, they don't have any abilities that go through Rage TP out or just Rage in general.
I mean, this has just been a classic carry, one of the most played of this tournament as far as the carry role goes. Nothing totally new coming to the table with the Lifestealer, but it still feels like a very stable pick, and that seems to be, at least for the most part, what Newbee are doing in this series. They picked the Sven in game 1, now they're going for the Lifestealer.
I think that Newbee sort of lacks catch. I think that's part of the big problem with their lineup right now is they can, the best thing that their team does is they just 5-man and run at you.
It could also be a good game for Phantom Lancer, but they go with Jug.
Jug, traditionally played a lot against the Lifestealer, having that Omni / physical damage, not something Lifestealer easily deals with some of the time. And Infamous, you liking their last pick, Will?
Yeah, I mean, they have no catch for it. Like, whenever he spins TP, what can you do about it?
I mean, same goes for Lifestealer, right?
Yes.
So both of these teams have a built-in free BKB on their carries, but I feel like Jug is going to bring more to the table, comes online a bit faster, can fight with the team. Also, you have even more sustain with the healing ward.
Yeah. I mean, with Infamous doing so well, the South American team, there's a bit of a catchphrase that you've seen called around this team, Will. Would you like to give
all
it
together?
One? Yeah, let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go!
That is the Infamous war chant, and Infamous are going to be looking to take a 2-0 here. Newbee, you know, they're down 1 game. We're going to see if they can bounce back. Newbee, they have it in them. We saw it in the group stage. They were the one in the upper bracket here. Do you think these are the picks that are going to work from Lacoste?
Newbee tends to go for their 10th pick, a comfort pick. Usually it's for the Yavar, of course, or CCNC on the mid lane. And I think the both drafts are kind of even.
Okay, well, you kind of agree. It's going to come down to the play, the execution, more so than either team having a draft edge?
Oh, for sure. That's what it always comes down to. Like, you can always talk about things like outdrafts, but something I really liked what PPD said once on a panel was, it doesn't necessarily matter if you have the better draft. The better draft doesn't always win.
All right, well, we've got Casey on the stage with Newbee's coach. Let's hear from them.
All right, Aoi, I wanted to ask you about Wraith King. It was such a big choice for Infamous in the last game, but I noticed you didn't bother banning him. Do you think that the reason you lost had nothing to do with the draft first game? Is that why?
I mean, I don't think our draft was particularly, good. It was fine, it was playable. We could have done better in draft, but I don't think draft is why we lost the game. After the game, we sort of just said, we had a little bit of first game of the day jitters, and we just need to focus up and play our game, and we're going to be fine.
How do you feel about the way you drafted for this second game?
I think it felt good because we were pretty confident in some heroes. They picked the Nyx Assassin to try to block this OD, but we're confident, we can play it anyways, And whenever your players are feeling really confident with heroes and matchups like that, I think you feel pretty good.
All right, thank you. We will see. Best of luck to you, Aoi. Thank you. Back to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome again, and thank you, Casey, for that interview with Aoi. A lot of information gleaned from that one, but the other thing we got to keep in mind is the crowd. There's a guy right over my shoulder there just screaming Hector over and over again. They're starting to feel it.
Yeah, he's screaming like Achilles, just over and over, calling him out there. He wants to see him perform. The game's already started, so get on in there, and nothing to worry. You didn't miss anything here. The draft, the second game. I'm looking towards MSS, I think, for this one. He's got to give us one of those crit-like performances that helped carry EG from the Wind Ranger. And, you are.
Oh.
Got 3 heroes on him here.
And does have a setup here if they want to use the Impale from Schofield. Thinking about it, chasing it out, tempting fate, goes for the spin. You need to rage at some point, or you're just going to give up your life. First blood, carry on carry, and Hector takes it.
Yeah, had the feast already skilled up there, so the tips come through, didn't have a play, and tried his little dance, but to no avail. Schofield not even wasting the mana on the guy, just his tip.
That's certainly a way to start this one out for Infamous, and they also able to trade off bounty runes 2 apiece. We will have a short pause here So we get ready to get back in. And
key oof. Big oof, says Highlight Die. A couple of big oofs for them so far on the main stage. We're looking to turn that one around here. Already ready to go. Okay, perfect.
I think that this is a team that's not going to be too hard hit by an early death there from UR. The only thing you need to be really worried about is if it happens again. And with a tri-lane on tri-lane, there's certainly that capability with UR still just level 1. We'll see if it ends up working out. But this also sets us up for an Omni Knight versus Brewmaster in the bottom lane.
A bit of a snooze fest. I don't know how much we're going to be down here.
That's true.
You know, enjoy the view while it lasts, because likely just going to be quite a bit of farming. And Whisper, you know, looking to be rotating around relatively early this game.
We'll see what ends up happening with that one. But yeah, the ET always a force to be reckoned with in these tri-lane situations. Get a ton of damage, nice little chunk of armor, but does need to be careful. Now with Hector moving in, they have the spin available, but good shackle shot going to keep him alive for the moment. But Highlight Eye sticks around, ends up going down. They trade their life for the kill onto Hector.
Yeah, that's not first blood or anything either, so not going to be worth it there for Infamous. And MSS, and you are basically just full mana and health right now after that.
Yeah, and they're actually going to switch things up now. So sending Hector down towards the bottom lane, since you are TP'd up top to get back to lane more quickly.
He still got it back by now, though. Like,
oh yeah,
life is good. The only person that won't be able to go will be Highlight Eye. But Snake King, yeah, he's in a bit of a pickle just because the lane's going to be pushing far away from him here by the looks of it.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that kind of works. If you can't bring the ET into the lane, maybe that was the idea all along. As Schofield going to take some damage, a two-person impale, but I do believe this is still going to be the next assassin falling.
Yeah, Pilot Eye with all that damage, looking to put some on a Whisper there too. Already has the aura, ultimate punches, and now we're going to get a rotation here. Obviously no way for him to cancel that TP, so MSS and Schofield going to mirror each other down to that bottom lane. As Hector is pretty low here, has 2 points, or rather has the point in the spin at level 2, as well as the crit, so no real concerns here. Salve does get canceled. Okay, MSS going to trade 90 mana for some regen there onto Hector.
And now, maybe going to trade his life away as Hector eats his way through the trees. Schofield there with the stun afterwards. Actually manages to hit onto both.
Yeah, he tried. He tried to get the tomato clap there for the kill.
Not quite in time, and Whisper in the meantime up top gets pummeled, but there is going to be a salve. He'll back up. The lane we haven't talked about all that much. CCNC kind of giving the business to Chris Luck here.
You gotta like the tips from Whisper though. I mean, he took them all the way to the end there, right? For that drunken brawler in the south.
Yeah. Unsurvivable.
Yeah, that mid lane is OD, right? He's in the mid lane. Life's good. Kunkka no longer having the annoying denies for the Tidebringer, so it's mostly just a harassing tactic, and OD always gonna have a good time in these melee matchups.
We'll see still if Chris Luck can get something out of it as UR continues to farm. Facing off against Whisper. A lot of damage out, but the drunken brawler hit.
Oh, yeah. All right. He played the numbers on that one.
I mean, that's a 50% dodge chance, so you take your bets.
Yeah, flip the coin. Yeah, the last 50% for Newbee didn't go so well with the OG coin flip. That means the next one, the Gambler's Fallacy, clearly it's going to be fun. So he gets himself the kill there.
This guy understands that.
Yeah, I think so. I go to casino all the time.
How do you do that? No, we'll just leave it at that. CCNC trading hits here. Chris Luck going to throw out the Torrent afterwards if he wants to. Schofield moving into position and actually going to make this rotation work out. The Impale comes through, and this is a huge kill if they can find it. CCNC in trouble, and Schofield takes him down.
Yep, couldn't find anything with the salve there, so great rotation. You know, usually it's the OD that puts the fear in the enemy mid laner in terms of an easy rotation setup with the Astral, but Kunkka, of course, can do just that with the help of the X and the Torrent.
Particularly when the Astral's down. No way to try and outplay the Kunkka on the Torrent pullback. Hector going to get shackled, but not really any follow-up here in any fashion. Just trying to secure the bounty runes, where it looks like Infamous are going to be pressured back away from theirs. Unless Schofield can make some type of play. We'll have to watch and wait. And still up top, you are getting the better end of the deal as Whisper's going to be forced back and actually gets the open wounds now.
I mean, clearly Whisper's having fun. I don't know about anyone else.
Now you get the bounty
This guy's tipping, getting bounties.
Oh, the chase down for the kill onto Schofield. Hector needing to back out here. And it will be a trade-off of 2 bounty runes apiece, as Whisper was capable of picking up both.
I know China calls Lifestealer the dog, and Whisper, he's taking him for the walk. Just from one bounty to the next, he gets both. And you are now back to his tower, finally getting some last hits.
Schofield not able to connect quite there in time on the Impale for Snake King. But yeah, a very active early game so far. 8 kills in just 5.5 minutes. As these tri-lanes often end up this way. And the movement was going over towards mid by the Wind Ranger, but not a great chance for a kill onto Chrisluck, who does have level 6 now.
Yeah, a little bit frightening there, but same thing from CCNC. He's taking that Sanity's nice and early, and we got the power shot. Oh, he's got Shackle off the catapult too early.
Yes, misses the chance, misses the power shot, misses everything, and now the torrent, but they get the kill. The boat's coming afterwards. CCNC not going to get hit by it.
They try to go for it without it, right? Because ideally, you'd like to save it for when he respawns. Maybe get a secondary attempt with the Sanities, but was forced to use it there. Non-ability, we get to see too much in the early game, but it already does like 230 damage right there to the Kunkka. So it's a good reason to get in a game like this.
So 1,000 leads so far for Newbee. Looking pretty solid in these opening minutes of this game number 2. Again, elimination match for them. Infamous looking to try and clear their way and continue on in this lower bracket.
Yeah, that 1K lead largely made up between the 1s and the 2s here. You got a 400 gap with the Lifestealer and the Jug, and then additionally about 600 or so between the OD and the Kunkka.
And as far as sort of team fight potential as the game goes later, oh, does he get it? All right, that guy plays Kunkka.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, he's got the gold, you know.
As far as teamfight potential going into the mid game, like, are we going to see Infamous try and get very active with the Bruce split and the Kunkka boat, or was it kind of just look like a farm fest again like last game?
I almost feel like it's like a counter initiation style where there's going to be this group up from Newbee pushing in, and they're going to be looking to respond to that. Like maybe like baiting into fights, and then trying to turn it with the X, trying to turn it with a False Promise, turn it with the Brewmaster. It's hard to play aggressive with these heroes unless it's like perfectly set up from the Nyx Assassin.
Okay.
So a lot of it likely to come down towards vision that Paladin will be providing for his team, and he is on one of these non-GPM heroes, so the sentry count might be a little lower.
And trying to get a ward placed down, but Stinger already there up front and center, and now Chrisluck able to make the rotation over. They'll find the follow-up kill onto Pylai Die before he gets those wards down.
And top rune Arcane for Chrisluck, so those rotations possible for him if he'd like. And the courier is also bringing through his parts of the phase, not quite complete. Actually, that's not even his. It's going all the way up to Whisper, who is also near to completing his phase boots here. Stinger's wrapping around behind Uwire, but no real offensive potential onto this Lifestealer. And Uwire is sitting very comfortably at the top of the net worth this time in the early game, not so much like last time.
He's just kind of been beaten away at this Brewmaster over and over again, and in the meantime, Whisper needing to head on back a couple of times.
Here comes that Arcane Rune bottom.
Looking for it. Boat, it's going to connect. Nice combination out onto Snake King. Can they bring him down in time, though? Looking like the answer is yes. As they get one more punch from Chrisluck. And now looking for MSS, but not going to find it. Still, that rotation, so key.
He did get Omni under the tower.
Oh.
Yeah, so Hector really went for it there, but MSS shrugging it off easily.
Now Whisper getting chased down a little bit with CCNC nearby. They do have the Primal Split if they need to use it, but it doesn't look like they want to commit for that. Instead, just going to TP away with the Brewmaster as Newbee pick up the kill onto that Oracle. Oh, Hector, kind of in no man's land. Shackle not going to connect, and no level 6 yet for MSS. But the power shot will be dodged away.
Yeah, he likes living on the edge there. That thing moves pretty fast. To go for the spin that late was quite scary. I'm pretty sure he was low enough to die.
This guy's crazy.
No concern. It's like, whatever. Have to go all the way home for the regen, though. So some space to Schofield, who, of course, has just been playing masterfully on the Nyx Assassins so far in this tournament. 1, 2, and 4 to start things off. 5 of the 6 kills. And get some easy XP heading in towards that 10-minute mark with the bounties, the tomes. Everything gets like leveled up a little bit across the map, right? Oh, well, also some more gold for you are with that Midas thing.
Well, they do entirely abandon, it looks like, the other side of the lane as The Kunkka made the rotation top, scouted out by the ward that was just dewarded now by Stinger, have an inkling that that's where they were at. And that does mean that Infamous likely looking to try and do the tower trade-off that we've seen so many times. Sinking, just gonna run down the Schofield Nick's Assassin, and should be a kill yet again. Snaking able to pick it up with the Purification.
Yeah, no real chance there unless he managed to get himself level 6, but not enough XP in the lane, so. Goes down, gonna get that trade. And I don't know if they might have thought he TP'd to the bottom lane too, right? Because of how short it was to go into his own jungle, so they might have been more feared of that rotation in the bottom lane anyway, but it'll just end up being MSS, and yeah, they say, yeah, I think we can respond here, guys.
Pi gets hit there by the Tidebringer, but it doesn't look like they want to try and go for the kill. I mean, there still is this Nexus Cassin skulking around, as well as the Brew who's holding onto the tower, and Snaking moving in. They're going to try and maybe go for the deny. Snaking in some trouble. Impale could come out in a second here as they pop the Primal Split, and now going to find the finish onto the Omni Knight.
Nope. Not in time there. Gets stunned, but fine first split if you can catch him out. He can't get a toss onto CC&C. But how close is Chris like? Oh, he's just far away. Maybe with the setup.
Moving in, MSS wanting to interrupt the Tidebringer. Can come out in a second with the Torrent already down. This OD in a lot of trouble, but a nice Shackle not looking like it's quite going to be enough. The Ghost Ship is going to land, almost find a kill, and Whisper comes in for the finish.
Just outside of the sleep. He's awake. He got up early. Gonna get in there for the clap. Fantastic game so far. Fantastic day so far for Whisper, really. I think truly standing out. I know how much we go on and on about Hector because he gets to be the star with a big net worth, but I mean, you can't ask for anything more out of Whisper. Game 1 and Game 2, I don't think. Playing a hero that we, again, don't see all too much, and he's gonna have a big role in this game when it comes to those dispels. You know, we're discussing during the draft, things like that Wind Run, you can get rid of using the Storm Panda, as well as the Guardian Angel, trying to provide an opportunity for Hector to get that damage out onto the enemy team.
Gonna be so key, definitely. And already they're off to a really good start for it. Newbee still slight lead right now in terms of the net worth, but it does feel in these little engagements, it's kind of outplaying them a little bit, particularly taking that last fight.
You are going to be a little concerned about this OD though, right? I mean, if you look at Jug, this guy's got 24 int right now at level 8. He got 26 int on the Brewmaster, so that ultimate is pretty scary stuff.
It was crazy though. Like you see right there, even Schofield just running up to CC&C, popping the Spike Carapace, making him think that he was going to try and initiate on him. Just doing whatever they can to try and get into the head of these players.
And he just has Brown Boots 4 stuff on the Nyx to try and stop these combos from happening.
Well, up in the top lane, it looks like there was a spin away. Just need to be a little bit wary about CC&C moving over, but will not go in for the full jump. Stinger placing down a ward. And again, we're kind of back to even again as we wait for the next Brew split to be back up.
We got some fighting builds coming out though. No Radiances in this game. We got a couple of these Radiance heroes, right? We got the Lifestealer, we got the Kunkka who built it every once in a while. Sometimes even the Brewmaster, depending on how his game is going, but no. We are battling. We're gonna have the Armlet Midas done here for UR momentarily. You've got a Manta in the eyes of Hector here too. So both these teams prepped to clash around that 15-minute bounty run time. Are we dropping the hammer, CC&C? Oh. No, good save there. Knew the Oracle was nearby with the Fate's Edict, so does not want to waste it.
Yeah, one of the cooler answers for the OD, obviously Sanity's Eclipse does give that big AoE ability, but if it's just dropped onto 1, you've got a nice save there with that Edict. Not to mention, of course, all the other save that Oracle brings to the table. And you look at the side of Newbee, and it's kind of different versions of save, really. Save coming from the offlaner and the Omni Knight with the Heavenly Grace. Not quite the same level.
Same thing with the Stomp from Pi too, right? Like, I feel like the team who initiates is almost at the disadvantage in this game.
Schofield gonna be under vision here as he does scout out the Ancient stacks. The pings come, Snaking realizes that he's in the area. They know exactly where he's at as they drop down the Sentry Ward, gonna get the Astral. Should be able to get the Spike Carapace out of this one as they get the walk away, still living through it. Stomp's gonna connect there onto 1 4-step though, keeping the Oracle alive. And now the chase forward does not lend itself to any more kills. So Infamous again able to get out that many casualties.
I like how CC&C astrals him and just runs, right? He's like, I know what's coming after this. I'm gonna get Carapace. I am gonna be very far away from this situation.
It does mean that they don't manage to find another kill afterwards.
And that's going to be both bottom bounties for Newbee and CC&C TP top. So he's going to beat Hector there too. So they'll get themselves 3 easy bounty runes.
played, well played. Now 3,000 gold lead after the fact.
I mean, look at that totals there. 2850 on the bounties from Newbee and only 1,200 from Infamous. So creating quite a bit of that gap that you see in the net worth.
8-8, but it does feel like that doesn't necessarily resemble the score of where this game sits. Are you feeling like there's one team that's kind of more comfortable with the state of the game at this point? Well, that's what that thinks.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I don't think I'd lean that hard.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that Solar Crest on Snake King first. Then I'm all in.
I mean, it feels really good that he can just walk in and do this and not be that worried. And all the Spike Carapace out, but they have the X already used.
He's pumping. He's thinking about the hammer.
Himself, but waited for that Astral to wear off, and then they're going to have the Bolt land down on top of CCNC afterwards. Whisper still trying to control several. A really good stomp, though. They're onto a couple of it. The Shackle manages to land, and that Nyx Assassin dropping very low, but the Spike Carapace afterwards keeps him alive. Stinger manages to find the Invis room, but still will be run down by UR as they do get the ultimate off. A 3-person torrent, but where's the damage? They don't have anything left in the tank right now from Infamous as Stinger manages to heal back up.
The short TB from Snake King, too.
And they're all away. The chase
level 1 D-Gen.
Want to take down Chris Luck. Stinger's still dodging around UR. Pops the rage to find the kill. But in the end, it's kind of just a weird little trade-off there.
If you take that much time and that ends up saving your Kunkka, you are completely fine with that, I am sure, as the Oracle player. And in that time period, I believe the net worth lead for Newbee actually dropped.
Yeah.
He had Whisper just rotate bottom for some farm. Hector was farming up there too after the Omni Slash, so.
Well, and the other big thing is Newbee kind of playing off of their ulti timings here, and GA on cooldown for another 2 minutes.
Still the Sandleys though, with the Veil. This guy's terrifying. They are lacking the save department there in terms of like that instant sort of save, right? Just because you do have the ET. I wouldn't mind MSS maybe getting a Force Staff too, because I think they could really use a Force Staff on the side of Newbee, but I know MSS wants to go into that damage.
Well, Schofield scouting out all of Newbee, the spin, and then the TP away from Hector. Does not want to take part in this anymore.
Yeah, but him leaving just completely ditches Schofield. Like, there's no concern of, all right, well, if he TP'd out, they're probably not fighting us.
Yeah.
I think we can take our free pick off here. In the bottom, CCNC getting very aggressive onto Whisper.
Now, Stinger is nearby to keep him alive and does have the TP away. The Astra already being used. Whisper's out of there. Given his appreciation to the team.
Yeah, he's got to play a few more games, get the all chat lines. I'm sure if he had those, we'd never hear the end of them. And sneaky TP out there from Stinger, too, doesn't want to go down again.
Still sitting at about this 2,000 to 3,000 gold lead for Newbee, who I think have to be feeling a little bit better about this game, certainly than they did last one. As Pi is holding on to this haste rune nearby. Let's see if they want to make something happen with it. Meanwhile, up on the top lane, Hector with Maelstrom completed. They spot by snaking. The ward dropped, immediately taken away.
That always feels good.
Might have been A-clicking for the other camp and just happened to get it.
Yeah, Hector doesn't have the TP quite at the moment, so had they gone in there, could have been a bit hazardous for him, but he now has the spin TP back up, so very unlikely they can take him down, which is just something we're just going to be seeing the entire game between the Lifestealer and the Juggernaut. It should give them pretty free reign to farm across the map here. Even when Hector's in such a dangerous looking spot, he has to essentially get shackled in order for the chain stun to occur. And even after shackle, what's the follow-up that he can't dodge, right? Like if you go into a sleep, the second the sleep is broken, he's just going to spin TP. So you got to make sure you get all kinds of damage in that shackle.
True enough. Chris,
all right, MSS is going to get this man.
So this one's easy.
What if he torrents MSS though?
He tries.
I appreciate the effort, but MSS gives him the kiss. See you later.
So things to keep our eyes on in this game. We've got the armlet already done on the Lifestealer with the Midas, but we talked about now going into the Radiance afterwards, giving him that late game scalability. On the other side, you've kind of got this Kunkka that's gone for a more mid-gamey oriented build with the Halberd early, obviously amazing against the OD.
Yeah.
As Stinger is just going to get run down here, but it does sort of raise some questions. The other ones we've seen have been the Radiance build that takes him to the later stages. Does look like Oro lives through that one, virtue of the False Promise. But you can see now that Infamous trying to gear up for that late game as they finish off the hand of Midas for Whisper. And Highlight Die jumped on, Hail comes out, Shackle onto 2, well played by the Wind Ranger. Can they find any more? They managed to get the Bruce Split off though. Maybe a chance for a turn here for the fight, or maybe just a runaway. It looks like Infamous want to escape. They lift up the Omni Knight, keep him out of the engagement, and with that, Newbee realized we don't want to go without our Omni.
Really hard to like fully commit for kills right now from either lineup. And you can see that in the itemization of CCNC, who's thinking about that scythe right after, so some good blink initiation there. But yeah, you were mentioning going back towards the Radiance here, is they're probably feeling good about this game. It can often be difficult to read like exactly what position you're in relative to the enemy team, but considering the way that UR's been farming, I'm sure he feels like, yeah, I got a really good game here, guys. I can get up to that Radiance. I can really do a lot of damage in these team fights. And gonna try and maybe get over that hump of the BKB from Chris Luck, because he's gonna be very scary when that comes out right on the Kunkka. He's gonna have a lot of opportunity to turn these team fights and turn the tide in their favor, trying to halberd CCNC as much as he can, and then just kind of waltzing on through there with the BKB, maybe trying to force a bad Sanities or bad Shackles, etc.
Well, and oftentimes what goes hand in hand with that vision, or rather the lockdown, is also the vision to find that lockdown, and that feels like it's going to be so important, because obviously if you can get the halberd off on CCNC before he gets his BKB off eventually, makes all the difference in the world. You just end up wasting your BKB.
Yeah, and they have two different tools on each team, right? We got the Spirit on the side of Newbee, and then you've got the Invis on the Nyx Assassin there to try and provide those moments, either for that Blink Scythe that comes out from CCNC, or that initial initiation out of Infamous.
And you know, a lot of people probably coming into this, they're looking at this matchup. Some might not have watched in a while. They're thinking Newbee, China team, you know, and then obviously South America team against each other. But this is actually kind of an intra-regional matchup that we've got going here. And things get super weird when that happens, because these players, they play against each other all the time. And that's why you're seeing so much chat wheel spam. And you can see the very unique
his
face.
Standard playing style.
That's just
for
what CCNC does.
That's usually what he looks like. He tries to emulate, you know, that like screaming bubble from the Dota TV? That's basically CCNC all the time.
I love that. But yeah, this is often what happens in these matchups, is you kind of anticipate the movements because you play against these players so often in hub matches or what have you, and then things get funky. Hector gonna run into CCNC now.
That's the Solar Crest though, because when you're playing as OD, the thing you always want is attack speed buffers, if you can, right?
Oh, the splitter, that was nice.
Yeah, so that makes it so he can't TP right there.
And we'll be able to still finish the TP out, but really heads up play from Hector not to just spin TP immediately.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map though, they did get another kill between UR and MSS. They catch that scouting Nyx Assassin, so the damage build so far from MSS working out there with the Javelin to help secure that one for UR with his Radiance, and man, he's already on his way towards that AC too.
What a monster. He's getting up there.
Yeah, and Hector just can't get enough of those Javelins. He wants another one. I got a Mjolnir, pop another one in my inventory. I'm gonna go for that MKB.
Definitely.
Makes sense, right? Like at first versus the Wind Ranger, it's like, it's just the support, but once the Radiance comes out, it's like, okay, I'm gonna get some good value out of this, plus it's a high damage item anyway.
They do manage to find the X Torrent onto CCNC. The pullback comes that much quicker, but because of the status distance coming from the Heavenly Grace, they're going to back out. Again, UR takes down the tier 1 tower up in the top lane.
It's Raid Boss CCNC mode, right?
Pretty much.
He reveals his exact item plan, though. He buys the Mystic Staff and the Void Stone, so if they had any doubts if they want some Lincoln Spheres or not, they know now.
Definitely.
But you pop the Solar Crest on him, put the Heavenly Grace on him, it's going to be very difficult to do very much to him at all.
Nice blink away from CCNC, anticipating.
They want to pick. They don't want to let Stinger just freely push his way through here.
He knew the spot. Stinger.
Use of the Observer Ward there made that pretty free for him.
Like that. And the rotation coming from Schofield, but Newbee again going to back out, make sure they don't get caught out of position, and just playing around that vision consistently well.
Schofield had the Force Staff if he really wanted it, but didn't see a good moment.
And 8-11 with a 4,000 gold lead. Slow and steady rolls the tide. That's a Kunkka line. Maybe it's something from Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't really know. But
thank you.
We're getting closer to those 25-minute bounty runes.
I always appreciate the Dota lore.
All right, can they find him here? MSS.
And that courier is flying for that site. And it's going to be ready for that 25-minute bounty rune fight. That courier's got to hurry, though. It's like that short film.
Oh, yeah.
So he's not going to be there quite in time, but it doesn't look like there'll be a contest anyway.
Also doesn't have a rapier on it.
true.
It's a different thing. So yeah, they'll trade off 2 apiece, it looks like. Another round of it. Hector going to get the TP away. And this is really going to be a continual problem for both teams. Is how do you deal with this just spin TP away or rage TP away? It feels like it has to be that catch them out beforehand with the Hex that we now see.
Yeah, you see Hex and you're like, well, that doesn't go through BKB. But, of course, it gives you way more time, and that's an additional follow-up to the Shackle.
And the catch going to be there as Chris Luck is going to go down. The full team, with the exception of Pile Die, who's maybe ready to throw his life away again in the mid lane.
He draws the line. He says, guys, you go. I'll head mid. Maybe we'll connect. Maybe we won't. I'll see what happens. Possibly I'll be directing from the grave, but maybe he prefers that, right?
That's a possibility.
Hey, he's only got 2 deaths this game. We got to give it up to Pi, right? Not feeding nearly as much in the early games the previous match. And as the curse comes out there, it looks like Snake King is close enough to dissuade Schofield from cursing my words.
It's a little bit scary here. Schofield, I mean, they're only 4 on 5 right now. They will get the Coiling Blade takedown of the Sentry Ward.
Yeah, but Pilot Eye, he's going for it again.
He finishes it off there. Nicely done. Hector, in the meantime, pushing up top with a catapult wave. Already going to take down that
MSS mid lane. Wants the Shackle.
Looking for it. Going to be able to get the Force Staff to keep him away. Yawar onto 1. They have the Primal Split afterwards if they need to use it.
CCNC is too far away for the follow-up. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Hector, he wants to abuse the spin TP. Oh, he doesn't have a TP. Well, that makes it difficult to abuse that.
Well, he's going to head back now and just run the other direction.
Yeah, so no free damage on that tier 3.
He does have the courier coming out afterwards, though. So can
and look what is upon it, of course.
These things happen. They're the best of us.
Or the worst of us.
Well, yeah, that's more often to those people. But it's a full MKB done right now for the Juggernaut, who's managed to keep up with the farm of the other 2, CCNC and Yawar. And Yawar quietly having a very, very nice game here on this Lifestealer.
Very quietly. You know, just 7 kills. Just shows up and takes a few and ults his way out of the fights. And now they have that bash too, right? We were talking about these answers that they needed for the spin TP.
And Chris Luck again caught. Do they have any save coming in from him? Looking for it. The disarm already there. And now he's used the Astral. Can it potentially, no, the Storm, just turn it back around, but they able to get the wake up afterwards because of the Astral damage. Now Schofield looking for the follow-up, trying to get out Snake King. You're going to be able to get the Omni Slash off, just blows up high. Not necessarily the greatest of targets, but maybe they can turn onto the rest of them. The Torrent lands onto CCNC right as he's coming out of it, trying to walk away. The turnaround there with the Insanities. It's not going to be quite enough, though, as they find another kill. Disarm runaway, but Whisper has him in his sights. Another round there of the Astral Imprisonment as they find themselves 3 dead from Infamous. But maybe they can find out CCNC. Not going to happen. They catch Whisper and they kill him as well.
Very nicely played from Newbee there. A messy fight coming out there and all kinds of lines being drawn from both teams. It looks like Stinger has something to say to the team after that one. Hanging stuff out here, drawing some lines, maybe not happy with the way that wraparound went for them.
No, definitely not. And now the Aegis gonna be into the hand of Newbies, who have taken a firm grip on this game.
That highlight eye, that stomp though that you pointed out, absolutely massive to give that fight to them. And CCNC, he smells blood in the water. He says, anyone coming? Anyone want a scythe? Come to Papa.
He's chasing. Torrent's still gonna land. But CCNC not stopped in the least bit. And again, that timing on the Astral coming back off cooldown for CCNC, which allowed him to hide away from the Omni Slash.
And now some scary moments here too, right? That Blink Shackle from MSS, the Blink Sight, a single step out of position here, and you're gonna lose a core hero here on Infamous. Buyback status for them, not too hot. Very far away for the Juggernaut. And yeah, MSS, as you can see there, at 1 camp stack, not his job this time, right? Oh, it's 2, 1, and 11, setting his fellow players up for success. And now they're gonna smoke up here with all this initiation on the side of Newbee.
Oh, they gotta be careful. They don't have Omni, they don't have Bruce Split, and Newbee have a whole lot of everything.
Radiant are scanning up ahead of themselves. They're not exactly sure where they're moving.
Behind enemy lines, Stinger gonna be the one left to die. And now the rest of Infamous going to try and evacuate the area, as it looks like they will manage to escape.
Oh, well, oh man. Okay, he did spin. MSS was coming in there. I don't know if he'd opt for the blink. MSS has the dust. Is he feeling it?
Well, he could be. Oh God, Schofield Oh god, no, the courier spotted him. Now they walk back the other way. He's just been dead or off. Oh no, they catch out the Nyx assassin, and Schofield looking like he might go down. Although Chris Luck may be here to save his buddy or at least find the kill on the Pi.
Okay.
So they get one in return, and as long as this Kunkka escapes, be some semblance, but no, they find the Jug up on the top side. The Banish comes out, but do they have anything for him afterwards? Well, Hector.
He doesn't have TP though.
Saving it, saving the spin, just trying to run. Healing Ward already taken down, taking away that in as Snaking runs in. Whisper, they drop the ultimate right onto his face, and now Whisper needing to run away as well. He is caught and gonna be under control, even though the ulti's going. This man is gonna likely go in the grave afterwards, as this duration not gonna be enough. Their body blocking the Earth Panda. The next level play coming out, as Infamous will lose their off-laner to boot.
Tries to go for the big save play there, but CCNC catches him with the pickoff. All these item pickups from Newbee, exactly what they needed to try and shut down Hector and shut down this game plan from Infamous. Taking the early game, but then on top of that, squashing out this split push on the side, still holding that bottom tier 1 even.
And this is one of those moments too where there's so often, great gameplay from Infamous playing together, making the right moves, but it feels like in the last couple of minutes it's falling apart. Everybody's trying to move individually.
Felt like that foursome effort that they have, their little quartet didn't quite have it. All right, well there's a Lincoln's.
Not bad, but chase forward now as they will kill off the Nyx. Does have buyback, so they'll have the full roster in just about 10 seconds if they can hold out that long, which we'll see if Newbee want to go for another set of racks.
Yeah, not a lot of game when you're down like 800 HP from UR. Missing quite a bit of his survivability. Go back, take the shrine, heal up a little bit, and then perhaps consider heading back towards the mid lane.
Yes, 12,000 net worth lead. Now the Wind Ranger has the MKB.
That's a core.
SS is a monster.
That is a ton of damage now. Solo kill potential.
You can see here the replay. Just building up that int already.
Yeah, let's see, 41 minus 8. I'll take a few more here, and CCNC gets a calculator. Okay, he's got the mental math. He's not allowed with a calculator in there, you see.
You can see they're not that worried about it. Well, maybe they are. It was a moment where he smiled, realized he got caught out. But Infamous still holding on in this game number 2. Newbee, an elimination match for them. They have to win this one if they want to keep their hopes of moving on with International alive.
Just about 40 seconds here left on the Aegis for UR, so don't want to do anything all too risky. You can see Infamous are pushing out some of these waves as well as scouting for Hector as they usually do. Schofield trying to keep an eye on who could be approaching from the rear. And a sentry placed down from Piladai. It will spot Schofield, the MSS not nearby. CCNC is though.
Chasing, looking, Hex is out, and with that,
he's
going to be one dead. Schofield is going to fall. Stinger tries to run away, does have the TP out, but is it going to be broken in time? Can they get him? The Banish comes out at the last second, and this Oracle 2 will die. This Infamous continue to lose one by one.
Chris Luck is here near MSS and Snaking. Old fashioned, nope, not going to get it. Gets it on the creep right after, of course. And Observer having to work extra hard here because they're going on players all over the map.
Down comes out as well as they have the control. Chris Luck, he's got Coco's rum, but is it going to be enough? MSS just barreling into him over and over with the MKB props, but Hector's shown up trying to keep his buddy alive. And with that, Newbee going to have to retreat afterwards, or just run forward a bit more, because why not? They got the chase down, Spin trying to run Hector.
Another
still under fire, the Torrent lands there onto 2. And chase down more. Stomp, not quite going to connect there onto the Juggernaut. They don't land the Shackle, but Newbee, smelling blood, ready to go for it.
The Torrents have been on point from Chris Luck right here. The rum, no hangover from that. He is hitting them all. But does escape here. Keeping their hopes of a high ground defense alive. I'm sure if one of those two go down, they're going to be knocking at the mid door there.
And again, thinking about those buybacks, you do have it on the Kunkka and the Brewmaster, as well as the Oracle for Radiant. But at this point in time, if Jug dies, it's feeling very hard to hold your base. It does feel like Infamous kind of have decent-ish high ground. Like, the Kunkka always feels pretty nice with X plays and then being able to pull people back.
They have massively upgraded on the side of Newbee now, though. That courier that died, it has now returned with a Lincoln Sphere. They've picked up a gem. They've got the AC done for Yawar as well. So Newbee, I mean, they can wait a minute and a half for potential Roche spawn. But I would be fine with them starting to move into Radiant territory and try to take a fight.
Yeah, making full use of that 13,000 net worth lead that Newbee have built up. As you can see, only 2,000 of that being the disparity between the bounty runes. The rest of it mainly off of kills, better farming. And now the big old wraparound coming. Snaking and Yawar up front and center. And Schofield, again, trying to be that force in between them.
Yeah, they got a ward up on the high ground. It is pinged out there by our Kunkka, though. He knows.
Yeah. Out of the heroes not in base right now for Infamous, Brewmaster just picks up his TP. Didn't have it a second ago. And they can go for the defensive plays. Rage going to be able to dodge away from that torrent. The pullback keeps the Kunkka alive. And Schofield now trying to play intercept. Throwing out the Cinder Brew. Chris Luck goes in the shackle though onto 2. They don't have the save right now. Splitter coming through.
CCNC went bottom to try and catch Hector, but didn't get it in time.
And now he spins TPs away. Infamous looking for Newbee. Not quite in a position to catch them yet. And Yawar turns off the Radiance so he won't get hit by the Spike Carapace. But Schofield still could try and free-hand and impale, but doesn't quite manage to get it. 13,000 net worth lead still going to be maintained by Newbee. And they're waiting for that next Roche, which is going to spawn in about 30 seconds. Relatively short timer.
Yeah, in favor of Newbee, stay there, I think, considering the state they're in, the items that they've garnered over Infamous. And very collected play here from Newbee, not really dropping anyone alone, no one getting picked off. Pilot Die only 4 deaths this time, which I think was the same as the first 5 minutes in the previous match. Keeping things nice and tight. And as Aoi pointed out when he came out of the booth, just trying to play their own game, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's in.
Oh my god, jumps forward, finds the Hex. Spike Carapace was out, but the Torrent lands afterwards. CCNC still thinking about chasing. Rooted, but immediately taken off. Heavenly Grace and Newbee, as you said, very calm, very consistently reserved and not making an overextension.
Yeah, and snaking with the Aghanim on that Omni Knight, very helpful.
Hector goes for the TP away, and oh no, he didn't get it in time! Dead for 80 seconds! Oh, he moved off to the left before he spun TP'd.
Is that what it was?
It looked like it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the TP or the spin. Either way, something went wrong, right?
Well, with that, it is now a very easy Roshan for Newbee. No chance of a contention at all. And Juggernaut still 1,600 gold away from buyback.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Nope.
The possibility of marching in the mid lane is there. They have the ever-present Guardian Angel now that Whisper is going to have to be concerned about because that thing is global on snaking. He has very short cast range in the Heavenly Grace, so he's going to have to be up and in the front lines there. Doesn't have an Aether Lens or a Blink Dagger, but with a Pipe and a Solar Crest, I think he'll be fine.
Kunkka does have enough for the second Daedalus and then buyback, but with, or rather the second Daedalus, but no buyback at that point. So it seems like he's wanting to keep a hold of that gold just in case things get too testy.
MSS is looking for TP cancels, but he's going to have to force out Whisper's BKB. Oh, he did BKB!
And that Hex up top. Chris Luck in some trouble. Sleep, chase away, BKB already out. They're fine for now, still running. There's the Torrent, catch up onto 1. The rest of Newbee is not here. But they also have been able to control the brew as Whisper runs back home.
MSS just haunting, chasing him invis, cancel the TP as he obviously wasn't going to BKB. He had no idea he was there.
The Shackle lands. They do have the Primal Split afterwards if they want to use it. Whisper still trying to run and buy his team a little bit more time, but this Brewmaster is going to fall. Does have buyback.
Very nicely played there from MSS. Guarantees a simple fight inside the base. They didn't really gain too much more out of it. But easy stuff here so far for Newbee as Hector will return to the top lane, keep his push up where he died last time, and Newbee looking to finish this out with the Strangle.
Second Rax going down, and Yuar can keep the pressure on, holding onto that Aegis, finishes off the Abyssal Blade. Not a lot of mana, though, which is one problem.
That's what the Aegis is for.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So the buyback comes from the Brewmaster. CCNC going to be controlled. The Impale coming through on a 3, but there's no follow-up. Nothing else after the fact. They throw out the Taunt, but the Rage is there, and the Sanity is Eclipse laid down from CCNC, killing off the Nyx Assassin. They buy back on him as well, so 2 buybacks so far. Hector's still controlled, but not too bad. Whisper going to get his ultimate off afterwards as CCNC gets healed back up again by that Omni Knight. MSS in the backlines throwing out those shackle shots. The Omni Slash bouncing back and forward, but the cheese comes from CCNC. Another Taunt with the lift of going simultaneously. Yuar is dropping somewhat low, but they managed to find that shackle again. A second round, and Hector going to die. No buyback at all. Newbee have done it as GG is called.
Very clean team fights out of Newbee. Pretty much after the 20-minute mark. It felt like Infamous, if you look at that graph, they're not going to have a whole lot of blips in their favor, right? Those kills, it's a lot of red. It's all red. They painted the town there from Newbee, and answering back very loudly.
Yeah, most definitely. You can hear the crowd feeling it right now for them.
They want to see success from them, of course. I mean, they also cheered very loudly for Infamous, too, I will say. You know, who doesn't like I don't even want to call them an underdog, more like a just exciting team to watch. Maybe someone who you didn't expect to be this far in the tournament, but up against Newbee, certainly evenly matched here, as we prove with a 1-1.
Absolutely. So interesting things to watch, and always one of the big questions that comes about. Game number 1 felt a little bit like a stomp. Game number 2 feeling like it's the stomp but the other direction. That often sets us up for a very exciting game number 3. See if that's what happens as we head back to the panel, getting ready for that one. You can see right now as well that Hector and the rest of Infamous heading back to the locker room. They are going to be a little bit favored going into that third matchup as we get ready to go into that third game. You can see here a very full crowd, and we'll head back one more time.
All tied up at 1-1 then in our first series of the day. A reminder for you at home as well, this is a lower bracket match, so effectively we're down to a best of 1 to stay in the international. This is where it gets really sweaty. Sorry, I had to get one, you know,
it's okay.
Spicy pun in there. So I'm glad you guys survived, by the way. That's a great result for Newbee, obviously, to get back into this game. Tough game, though. Wasn't straightforward. There was plenty to do.
Very comfortable draft, though. Like they said, Curtis, Aoi, when he comes out of the booth, even when they do the interview, they're like, we don't really care if you have your Nyx Assassin. We're still really comfortable with the OD. CCNC had a spectacular performance in this game, making moves all over the map. So they played to their strengths, and they played against, I guess in this one, a little bit of the weaknesses that Infamous did have.
Right, and also, Brian, back to where they were playing before. It seemed much more like the group stage version of Newbee.
Yeah, they felt comfortable, I think, with those last 2 picks because the first 4 heroes of Infamous offered virtually no burst. They had a lot of disable, but the fights were going to last a long time. And I think the last 2 picks by Newbee basically said, we're going to have OD that hits you a lot, punishes you if the fight goes on, and we have a lifesteal with Radiance. And that made it so that the Hector pick, I didn't think there was really anything in the game that made him the best late game carry out of everyone in the game. And that's Infamous's comfort zone. And I think Newbee did a really good job that game of leaving the Wraith King on the pool, but not really giving them that pick that they needed to secure the late game.
Okay, OD Pixel, just quick words on a comeback from Newbee?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, you cannot write these guys off from making these sort of comebacks. They've got a lot of veterans on the squads, and their group stage results, they were drawing across the board. You know, 1-1, 1-1, how to believe 5 draws at least in their group stage matchups. And the way that they came back into this, it was smart. You know, Aoi, he got his big brain plays out with the drafts. He says, we don't need to ban the Wraith King. We're just going to draft in a way that makes it impossible for them to play it, forces out Hector to go on a Juggernaut, which is, it just always feels like this bit of a meh carry. It's like, well, there's nothing else better to do. Jug it's a safe pick. It's not going to have the same impact as a draft where Infamous is able to just slam out a Wraith King.
Yeah, definitely didn't have the same impact as we saw in game 1. We'll see how that pans out in game number 3. But first of all, you're probably wondering what this box is on the desk. Let's go over to Sir Action Slacks and Casey to find out exactly what's in the box.
What is in the box? Well, we'll tell you, Red Eye. We've been having some adventures in Shanghai, and we got to do something very fun.
Yeah, and by the way, nice 7 reference. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we decided that when we came here last month, we asked Dub to kind of show us around and perhaps take us to something that they love to do in their spare time. And
something artistic, right?
Yeah.
Something beautiful?
Yeah.
Something where we could really spread our wings.
All right, just toss to the piece.
All right, check it out.
So you hold this with your left hand, and then use your right hand thumb to dig, a hole.
Oh, yes, on the palm.
然后这样子压。No.
Use your thumb.
Oh, your thumb.
对。
Oh, I see. The thumb does a lot. I got it. Oh, it's like magic.
Are you helping? No cheating.
It's not cheating. This is a classroom.
No, it's a game. Everything is a game. And I must win.
So have you did this before?
No, never.
Isn't that clear?
You're very good.
I'm very good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Casey.
What? I cannot live in this world.
你不要太小了，它也拉不了。
Because that's too little, you can make it to a mug.
Look at this.
No.
Nope. Oh, this is relaxing. I feel in a Zen state.
I don't know where the front is.
You can decide.
I know that sounded stupid, but I mean, there's got to be a best side, right? This is all going according to plan. Yes, indeed.
Do we ever have a plan?
No.
Done.
Wow,
finished.
All
It's very good. It's very cute. It's very nice. Perfect.
Oh, thank you.
And now it's time to unbox our creation.
Yay!
Yay! All right.
Oh, so cute.
Oh, those came out really good.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. I even got my signature here.
Oh, I didn't do that.
It's gonna be pricey, I'm sure.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, yours is actually super cute.
Good.
Oh,
What?
this is perfect.
This is not the.
Oh, this is
way. This is not no.
This is exactly what I did.
No, you didn't.
What
Do
do
you
you
remember?
mean?
He made a lot of like different
It was
other
definitely
ones.
not terrible. It was definitely that.
Where's his real one?
That is the
Ronald?
real one. Ronald, don't do it.
Oh,
Ronald.
We just know, you know.
Now open it.
Oh my God.
See, that's how I remember.
Oh, his nose came off. Oh, he's hideous. My son.
Oh.
I love both of my sons equally. Stop.
What is this?
That's his nose.
What happened to it? No, you can't have it back.
Give me back my nose. It was too good for this world.
Thank you for showing us how to do this. This was fun. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yay!
No.
Wow, that was so fun.
It was a lot of fun.
So thank you to Eve and Dove for showing us around, and no thanks to you. What is? Come on.
This is my perfect son, my only son. I love him so much.
It's a courier.
I know it's a courier. You've been saying it for 2 weeks. I get it. Oh, that was fun though.
Where's your real one? Seriously.
This is my real one.
Not your
my
real
only son, the only one I love. You know what's really bad for the self-confidence? Being in a room with 3 beautiful women laughing at you for 5 minutes. Can we talk about
Just
how
call
that
us
hurts?
beautiful. That's so nice.
Shut
Thank
up, Casey.
And there it is. Okay. Where is your real piece? Seriously.
This is my real piece, Casey, and it's beautiful. On sale right now, $299. Check it out.
Back to you.
Yeah, it's I have a version up here which I feel like is probably a little bit more representative. There's something hanging on by a piece of.
This is a family show, Paul.
Put them back in the box.
That's true. Yeah, no, sorry. It's well done, Slacks. It's great. Ish. Guys, please,
I expected
please,
worse.
I don't want to break it, but the top doesn't really. I'm. Please play. Enjoy.
Dude, it's not that bad. I actually expected worse. I don't know what he did over here though. This part looks like it's probably not
that's
that
a bit weird. Yeah, that one's a bit weird. It's hard though. That looks quite tough.
Theirs actually looked super good. Like
The other ones, I actually was
excellent.
like, wow, can we get copies of these? They'd be amazing. Yeah, that I don't know, dude. I don't know what that would do.
It's like completely
I don't know.
broken.
He tried to. Apparently, that's a techies.
It looked like Mr. Midas inside of a cup, right? I thought he was trying to do his Midas guy.
I mean, it looks like something else, but. Yeah,
family show.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we can get rid of this.
I think we should probably put it back in the box.
Okay.
Give it. We
Let's
should probably
save everybody here.
Yeah, let's be careful with it
All right.
because it's fragile and obviously a lot of time and effort and hard work went into this and we'll just put that down there somewhere. Just go down there. It's fine down there. Honestly. No, that was fine. It was fine.
It was already broken.
I think you fixed it.
It probably did. Yeah. It's improved it. Game 3, gents. Love a bit of Game 3 action. And between these two teams. Now, it's a best of one, Brian. We talk about pressure all the time and TI pressure and lower bracket pressure. If you want to add a little bit more, make it a best of one.
Yeah. I think Newbee had the right approach last game where they said, let's just pick our heroes. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's not the perfect game for it. We're comfortable. Let's just do our thing. We saw last TI, I think the last game, OG just picked our 5 favorite heroes. And I think when a best of one, I like that approach a lot because you don't want to go out saying, maybe I could have played this hero better. Maybe I could have been more comfortable in this game. And these two teams, out of all the teams here, I think are two of the most, I don't want to say limited, but they have their select hero pool that they're very good at, and they kind of don't want to deviate too much, I think.
I mean, Infamous played the least amount of heroes in the group stage, 34 different heroes during the group stage. Compare that to someone like Chaos, who played 57, by the way. Slightly out there, but it's a big gap between the first and the last in terms of heroes. Some might say that that's because they're sticking to what they know. Some might say that's because they've figured out the meta. Some might say it's because they've got a limited hero pool. Where do you stand on that?
I think it's... When you've played it, if you played a TI, you don't want to ever go out on a hero that you're not super comfortable on, right? Like I've seen some of the situations in some TIs where it's like they pick someone like a hero 3 times in a best of 3 and they lose that, and that's their end of their that's the end of their run. You never want that to happen. So putting your players on comfort heroes is always going to be a better play, especially if you're into this elimination.
Yeah, it's funny how it, isn't it? Because we see this a lot at TI, where a team is struggling a little bit, and then they get dumped into the lower bracket, and they're still struggling a little bit, and then they just kind of, it's almost like the pressure disappears. They kind of go, look, guys, do you know what? Let's just play what we love playing.
No,
Let's just relax. And that can be a turning point in the whole tournament for a team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we sort of heard from the players on Newbee in the interview earlier that they didn't necessarily feel the pressure, but they certainly understood and respected how awesome it is to play under such a massive brand like Newbee. And they said themselves, it makes them play a little bit better. That's excellent. That's exactly what you want to hear from the players that you've just picked up as an organization, that your big name that you're giving to them it's sort of giving them that fuel, giving them that fire. And we really saw it in that last game. You are CCNC, top of their game in terms of core performances. The OD Omni, this combo that we've seen over the ages of sort of Dota 2 drafts, just showing us how efficient they can be with it as ever. And I just really enjoyed last game watching a bit of the old MSS Wind Ranger. He's made a good case for why that hero needs the Arcana.
I like your train of thought.
You know what I mean? He showed it off. We've seen it from Crit the other day. This hero in that role, he was styling on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some good performances. Brian, they're going to need big performances again in Game 3. Can't slack off now.
I just want to see comfort from Infamous mainly on the result of, I think Hector is unrecognizable when he's not playing FaZe Midas. And if they have late game, I think they'll give the performance they need to take this.
All right, teams are re-entering the Mercedes-Benz Arena here in Shanghai. If you're just joining us, welcome to the International 2019. The lower bracket is sorting the men from the boys, and we're going to find out over the next hour or so, maybe, which one of these two teams is guaranteeing themselves a top 8 finish. Remember, the South Americans from Peru, Infamous, have already set a new record for South American performance at the International by reaching the top 12. Can they go one more magical spot better? We're going to find out very shortly, of course, as the two teams get themselves settled. We'll look forward to the draft, of course, head towards our draft panel very shortly as well. We talked about pressure for Newbee, talked about how they're going to have to bounce back and what have you. Infamous, on the other hand, do you still feel like they're in that zone of, we've already done better than everyone thought we would, and we've got lots of money, and we've done really well, and it doesn't really, there's no pressure on them in a way, is there?
No, I mean, they still want to prove a lot. They still want to keep going. Like, we even saw their interviews like with Schofield and stuff. He's just like, wait, there's pro players? I don't even know who the names of these guys are. I don't care. I'm just here to play some Dota. Like, we're just here to crush it. And I think that they're not satisfied still. Sure, they're gonna, if they lose the game, they're gonna be like, we did pretty good. But these guys want it. They really, really do. And I'm gonna go back to what Brian was saying. And I think coming into this and talking about specific heroes and stuff, I really think that they should look to address the late game, right? You said this team, they should really pick maybe like a Void, something just to go for that super late game, just to have that insurance policy. And I think when you're in these type of situations, when you could just get knocked out right now, you have one more game, you have to draft for the late game.
But isn't that their theme, though, gents? Isn't that, you know, they want to run at you, they want to be aggressive, they want to win in 25 minutes. That's their thing, isn't
I think so, and I think you, as Newbee, you do have to be aware of them trying to go for that 25-minute play. You know, Hector, I'm checking his profile, his most played hero, it is the Huskar. So you've always got to be prepared when your back's against this wall, one game away from coming out.
Not the Huskar in the best of one.
Sure, obviously it's not the Huskar of you know, yesteryear, where it used to just be sort of this, oh, their 5th pick Huskar, we lost. Yeah. But you still got to be wary for it in the right sort of scenarios. And this sort of pace of play that Infamous are pretty renowned for, it could still come out.
All right, so maybe some surprises, Brian. If we see surprises on the other side from Newbee, where would it come from?
I honestly don't think Newbee brings
They're not
any
like
surprises.
That, are they?
Yeah,
really.
I was like thinking in my head, come up with any hero that those guys kind of niche
Yeah,
picks.
you kind of go like Meepo.
No, they don't play.
It's probably MSS.
I've seen a CCNC Brood.
I'd love to see a CCNC Meepo. That would be
a CCNC Meepo in the last best of one that they might play in the TI. That would be amazing.
I love it.
I think the biggest variety one is probably MSS, right? You can see that's the one. It's like the Wind Ranger just got popped out. We could see, we have it on the main stage, but the support Invoker, right? Those are definitely potentials that they could, but besides the rest of them, I don't think the other ones are going to deviate at all. Like Snake King's going to play his Comfort Hero, CCNC's going to play Comfort, Yawar as well. Same thing with Pi. MSS the one.
Brian, you've played in these teams and talked about strategy before matches and what have you. What do you think they're talking about right now for this one? Not just draft, but in terms of how they go into the game.
I think that they want to focus on the mid game. We talked about how Infamous wants the late game, but I think a lot of how they get to the late game is really important for the core of winning this game. I think that the fact that Hector had to participate in fights way early on than he wanted to is a big deal for Newbee, and they're going to just try to force the tempo with the way they play and forcing 5-man engagements that Infamous can't really help but take. They have to fight you.
Right. Do you think that's the influence of Owie from game one? Because they didn't do that in game one, did they? Kind of just.
I think they adjusted very quickly.
Yeah.
It felt like they couldn't force the issue, even though they had the Leshrac, like a hero that wants to push the tempo, push buildings, take objectives. And suddenly in that second game, they didn't really have tower takers, but they had brawlers, low cooldown, fight us all day.
Definitely. We hear the crowd. Who are they yelling for? Are they still yelling for Hector? I know I heard a couple of Hectors, but there's someone is really loud.
It was very, very loud from above us. I don't quite know where, but it's absolutely packed in here, and everyone's very much looking forward to game number 3.
Newbee versus Infamous. Game 3.
Those magical words, game 3, the decider, one game for these two teams. Someone's being sent home, someone's going to advance in the top 8. It's do or die now. I gotta say, this draft, this is where it all begins. This is where the story of this elimination match starts.
This is when things are getting shaky. Whether we go for this one pick could decide all. Whether you want to go for a comfort pick or you want to try to counter what they have. We've seen some of these interviews that some of the teams prefer not to counter pick too much. You just go with what feels the best for your team, what you practice, instead of putting yourself in a bad position, especially in this elimination. We're going to call it a best of 1.
Well, we call it a best of 1, it is one game, but all those past games will still definitely be fresh in their mind as far as some of the picks and heroes that affected them. Magnus being one of those ones that Infamous used so effectively, and Infamous immediate response already from game 2, they're banning out the Omni Knight.
Yeah, that's usually when a team's saying like that was the real problem. Not your OD, not your Lifestealer, it was the Omni Knight that enabled all of these. And I semi-agree because, like I said before the draft, I think that Snake King is sort of the linchpin for this team. Him having a good game, being able to enable his other teammates, I think is huge for Newbee.
Well, we'll see what other deviations might come out. Newbee are adamant they want to keep banning this Whisper Enchantress. That's been his most effective hero as far as Infamous are concerned, so no surprises there.
Are they just going to ET open up? I mean, they did it 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Win-loss.
It reveals so little when you just first pick this ET. Like, you can go so many different directions. It gives you team fight. It gives you strong lanes.
And the reason why they banned out Omni Knight was because there were 2 saves. You have OD and you have Omni Knight, and they itemized so aggressively. On Newbie side, you had this fast blink hex OD, which got him a lot of the kills on the side lanes. And Lifestealer also went for a basher. He has a free BKB built in, and they could play aggressive. No need for early BKBs or anything, because you have these 2 saves. And they open up with the Tidehunter. I would love to see any kind of counter to a Tidehunter. So we've seen this multiple times throughout this TI so far, where teams can fight around a big Ravage. Like, you don't have enough to burst him down because of the Kraken. You can't lock him with the... That's why I want to see some kind of Enigma, Faceless Void, maybe even a Doom. Or if you want to have a good laner against him, get something like a Slark.
We'll see if Infamous have a response to this. They probably weren't expecting a first pick overall Tidehunter based on, you know, the way Newbee have drafted the last couple of games, so... We'll see.
Oh, so that's one way.
Okay.
It's a slower hero, though. That's the only downside, is like he's a little bit slow. The problem with the hero is like he's really good against like certain heroes, but at the same time, like you're very ulti reliant. Your laning phase is like, it's okay, but really the reason why you pick this hero is because you think that the ult will counter other heroes. Like, you're trying to prevent some heroes from being picked. I'm still surprised that neither side has decided to take the SD, considering how popular it was yesterday. And I do think it's like one of the best anti-carry cores.
Yeah, but having SD and AA for Infamous, you have 2 supports who don't have enough lockdown. You don't have the control.
I'm down with like not taking SDAH. I just mean SD in general. So Infamous is going to grab the Wraith King, which you talked about. I really like that point you said, like, what hero are you going to go out on? You're not going to regret, I feel like, going out on this Wraith King of Hector's.
Yeah. Look at Hector dancing.
He's about to style on these kids.
Ooh, boy. And this also, now the AA pick makes a bit more sense, because this is one of the best laning supports to pair with Wraith King and lane.
I would not be surprised if they just go straight for OD, because I believe it's not going to survive the second banning stage.
Would mean you're most likely picking up 2 cores in the first stage and revealing a lot as far as your draft's concerned, but you maybe don't care if you're revealing a lot if you're really content with the heroes you've got and the way they match up against your opponent. 8 wins, 3 losses on the Wraith King, only behind the Lifestealer as far as success at this tournament goes. Instead, though...
That's a different approach. They're going to go for a mana burn, probably position 4. Invoker deck can still swap things around, but the position 4 Invoker right now seems like the best role for him.
And this was one of the kind of out there picks that Fog mentioned that Newbee brings to the table.
I really like this Invoker pick, because I think that what you really need against both these heroes is like the ability to hard reset fights. And Tornado is one of the best ways to do so. Plus, I think it just outpaces the AA. You have a hero that can just like get in your face, pressure you. When you have an AA, what you want your team to do is like be able to initiate slowly, and for you to be able to just like load up the cannon, snipe, take your time, take the shot. But Invoker 4 especially doesn't really allow you to do that.
Is there any concern, so that if it does go late, like Invoker... Yeah, you can burn Wraith King's mana pool until he gets level 20. He gets the Reincarnation, doesn't have a mana cost talent, and all of a sudden, this Invoker pick doesn't really counter the Wraith King at that point as well.
No, but it's still a good of a pick, especially if he has a good laning stage. You get that Urn, you can get the solo pickup on this AA who has no escape mechanism whatsoever, and the hero scales. It basically becomes your 4th core as well.
Okay. Well, we'll see Lina and Tiny band out as we go into the next stage. Newbee already, I mean, a lot of team fight. Tide, Invoker, that's definitely not an area they're lacking. And they still have their mid and carry. So their draft very open right now, it feels like. Whereas, you know, Infamous, a lot of directions they can go, but it's Infamous. You're expecting 4 Protect 1.
I could also see them take the Nyx here. I actually don't think it's bad for the break mechanic against the Tidehunter, so that he doesn't get the Kraken, and it's not bad against the Invoker either. Anytime you cast a spell, you can Carapace it.
Yeah. And we've seen Nyx as one of his most played. Tiny, another hero he's really good on. Something Schofield's played that other teams haven't is also the Tusk. His Tusk has been pretty damn good.
Yeah, they also picked it for Whisper twice in the group stage.
No one wanting to be brooded in a final game of TI, so
even though they have a decent hero against the Broodmother with the Tidehunter, he can be the one standing in that lane, even though Broodmother will still find a farm on the map. What Infamous can do with these two heroes, just pick a third one, and it's an extremely strong tri-lane. But then you need to have a good hero in 1-versus-1 matchup, because Tidehunter really loves getting those 1-versus-1, especially against the melee heroes. And I mean, he just shines with getting the levels early on.
And that's something which Infamous may want to shut down. Like, they're a team that likes to run these more roaming 4 positions or tri-lane type setups. Whisper often gets kind of just, you know, put on his own to fend for himself.
It's taking a while for this pick. I think for 4 positions, I still feel like the since the Tiny's banned out too, I think the Nyx still has value.
It's the right fit when you've got the AA, who is this kind of passive 5 position, it feels like. They get Leshrac for now. I don't think we expect that to be a 4 position, though.
It looks like a core Leshrac.
They've played it offlane a lot for Whisper.
So they need to pair it up. If it's an offlane, pair it up with another low cooldown stun, something reliable.
And Nyx Lesh, there we go. That's the lane we've seen a lot of. But yeah, like heroes like the Sand Kings also sometimes partnered with a Leshrac, although maybe not so much as a 4. You guys like the Leshrac? How do you feel like it matches up against what Newbee have picked so far?
It's a flex pick, so it can fill basically 3 roles right now, so they're not revealing anything.
As for Newbee, they've got some flex picks of their own with the Invoker, but they're going to pick ET for now. Typically played in that 5 position role.
It's going to be so hard to play around the Newbee when they are the ones being initiated on, at least from Infamous side of because you have Tidehunter's Ravage, you have Tornado, EMP, and the Elder Titan with probably 2 of the best counter-initiating spells in the game.
It feels like, yeah, Newbee's going teamfight and more. Teamfight Infamous is just saying, well, we're not even going to try and match your teamfight. We're going to play our style of Dota. You know, we're going to look to get Hector so farmed to the point where we don't care about these teamfight spells. Go for your BKB timing specifically. That's where all of a sudden, Newbee, you jump them with BKBs, they don't have a good response. Oh, Earth Spirit, Schofield, going to be playing one of the more aggressive and active 4 positions.
That's a lot of team fight on the side of, actually both sides have just a ton of team fight. Like the 5v5 potential of this game is going to be sick. Like if I'm Trent and Lyrical, I'm pretty hyped about this game just because I feel like they're just going to fight nonstop. There will be a time period where both sides just have to engage.
Why do you think they picked the Earth Spirit over something like the Nyx Assassin we were talking about?
I actually think the Nyx is still good because it's good against the ET, the Tidehunter, and the Invoker. But I think part of what it is they want an easier way to gank for mid and for him to be able to rotate and secure both lanes. Whereas I feel like Nyx is good in that regard, but like he's not going to have that dream game like he did in Game 1, I feel. Like Earth Spirit's a little bit more reliable in that case.
Well, looking to win multiple lanes using that roaming Earth Spirit, and we'll see how Newbee address this. There's often certain mid heroes that you want to maybe play that have those escape mechanisms when you're up against an Earth Spirit.
Yeah, Queen of Pain comes to my mind, something that has this, as you mentioned, escape mechanism when Earth Spirit rolls in. They're going to go with that. It's just a comfort pick for Newbee.
Yeah. And it's also pretty good when you look when you talk about Earth Spirit having a magic immunity going into that fight. Leshrac AA, a lot of magic damage where the Rage is going to be very useful.
I think it's good against 3 of the heroes on the side of Infamous. And it's not a terrible core matchup for you either. Like I think it's quite good against the AA, the Leshrac, and the Earth Spirit. He doesn't really care what they put out. My favorite part about lifestealer games is when you can pick a core that has his own built-in BKB, and he's not hampered by his pace in the game.
And we saw in the game number 2 the itemization from him, getting that armlet as the first item after Midas, and then transitioning into Radiant, so he can still take a fight with his team before 15-minute mark.
All right, well, we're going to be heading into those final picks, and likely both teams looking for a mid laner here. We have not seen much, if any, mid invoker from Newbee. It's almost always been that 4th position for MSS, so it is going to be Newbee having to pick their mid first, pick it a little bit blindly, and they're going to be a bit worried about what kind of counter picks can come out, which does make this final pick a bit more difficult.
Newbee needs a playmaking hero, something that can go in, make stuff happen. Otherwise, they will be the one just counter-reacting to what Infamous is doing. I mean, their lineup is really great with counter initiation.
Are there any cheese picks Infamous can bust out with that 10th pick? I mean, Husker was mentioned. It was also banned out 10th last game. Is anything along those lines possible?
I feel like Husker pairs it a lot better when you have some sort of save for him. I kind of think that they want one more core that can teamfight or another core that can scale. I'd even be okay with some here like TA for Chris Luck.
They have no ways of breaking refraction so far, so it looks like a good TA. And they have the last pick.
It also doesn't feel like they have good lockdown for something like a Storm or an Ember Spirit. They don't have that real instant stun factor.
Yeah, I'd be super down for like a Storm game on the side of Infamous, but we'll see as they ban out the OD on the side of Newbee. I would like one of those like scaling mid cores though. Storm, TA, I'd be alright with either of them. Depends on what Newbee pick for. Yep. You're about to see, and then you can just counterpick the pure lane and just take one of those depending on who lanes better on what.
Kunkka, that's where the OD ban makes a lot more sense. It's one of the counters to the Kunkka mid, so CCNC. The Kunkka, what's the Infamous response? They did have Monkey King in game 1. That's one of those melee heroes that can feast upon a Kunkka in a 1v1. Any other options that stand out as far as hero matchups that you really want to play here?
Oh, they're going to take Slark. Ooh. So, by the way, they've done this Slark mid like 4 times. They even did it against Brood mid once. Yeah. And surprisingly, he got destroyed, but they ended up winning the game, so it's fine.
I love this Slark pickup. I mentioned it after I saw the Tide Hunter, and you're playing against, what, 2 melee cores. I think it's going to be a really good Slark game to start with.
They had a whole minute of reserve time to think about their pick, and they did not hesitate at all. They were very confident in it, so Infamous seemed to be feeling pretty good about their draft well.
Yeah, I think they should. I feel like it's pretty well layered, and something that they really missed. What the panel mentioned was Newbee needs, or Infamous needs the ability to be the better late game team. I think that's where they're most comfortable, where they can take advantage of those things. So I think, I don't know if they had the better draft, but it's more a draft that fits their playstyle.
Yeah, as Lacoste, as for Newbee, they've got this big, crazy team fight going on. Does that feel like their comfort zone as far as being an elimination game? Do you feel like they're going to be happy with their picks?
Well, I think they drafted a good draft for themselves, but they don't have much counters for Slark. EMP will be needed to place on Slark. He can't play without the mana.
Okay. Well, we're going to hold our thoughts for a few seconds. We're not quite ready to hop ourselves into the game. What key players do you think need to really have a stand-up performance? And we always talk about Hector with Infamous. Is it him? Actually, before that, no, we're going to head over to Aoi. He's on the stage with Casey. Let's hear some final thoughts.
All right, Aoi, last time we chatted with you, you felt pretty confident in your ability to just stay true to your game. How are you feeling after that draft, and what do you think worked so well for you in game 2?
I mean, honestly, whenever we watch these games, we never feel like our drafts are like what we want from these drafts are just solid drafts that we feel we can play our own game in. And it's not like we just want to do well in lanes and then be able to like control whatever we want and fight them. And I think this draft like does pretty well at that. It's like sort of similar to game 2 in that sense, so we feel pretty good with it.
Aoi, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Back to you.
Thank you so much, Casey. And yes, we are here in the final game. One of these 2 teams, Trent, is going to be going home, and I don't know who it's going to be. It's been crazy so far. Game number 1, Stomp. Game number 2, Stomp. What's going to happen game number 3?
Well, I like what I always said, right? We want to play our own game. We just want things to give us tools early game, mid game, late game, because things get messy. It is elimination time here at TI, and the best way for it to happen is in the game 3 of the lower bracket. Both of these teams, they've shown they can take on the other. They've got that one win, but it's all about the second one to send them home.
And this is where it all comes down to this, the pressure feeling on it for both teams. Newbee, many of these players used to it definitely, and Infamous maybe under no pressure at all. It depends on how you feel at this point, as they were already the underdogs coming into this tournament, but have proved to be a force to be reckoned with. And a Schofield Earth Spirit. I feel like I've seen him play this hero so many times today, but the Chris Luck Slark is also going to be a very interesting matchup to watch early on here.
Yeah, something that's been rising in a bit of popularity here throughout the group stage. I guess we got a couple of those, right, with the support invoker too, having a go just before the tournament started in a lot of these high-ranked pubs. But gonna have to keep our eyes on that mid lane to see just what this Slayer can get out of it, and how much pressure can he put on the map out of that lane. Is he gonna be able to help set all of that space for Hector on his Wraith King? Because Infamous, if you're going out, you're doing it on the Wraith King, and if you want to stay in, you don't want to have that regret maybe of just be like, yeah, but what if we had to pick the Wraith King, guys, right?
It's true. Yeah, it's so often one of those things that matters is we have the losers traded off there early on in the mid lane. We did see briefly also the Leshrac able to get the Split Earth into denial of that bounty rune. So it's just a trade-off there of 2 for 1, looked like. And as we head down towards the bottom lane, we're running into a tri-lane situation, this time with the support invoker. So if you're just tuning in right now, this has started to become a bit more of a trend. Trent, do you want to talk a little bit about what MSS is going to do today on this little scary kid?
Sure, man. Support invoker. It's pretty cool. It's a Quas Wex style, so you don't get a lot of those high damage spells, but it's a lot of control. You got yourself some mana burn. And the most common build is you start out with the Bassi, which is going to purchase up right now. Give yourself some extra damage. I don't think Whisper's dead quite yet. Yeah, he's got time. He's fine. So then after that, you break it down into the Medallion, the Solar Crest, as well as the Urn. It's a lovely build. It just tons of team fight, and essentially forces all your opponents to buy BKBs in the core roll.
Highlight die. The body blocks came in for a second, actually from Yawar, and that's going to spell the end of the aggression, at least for now, as both teams getting very low in that bottom lane. So yeah, the support invoker, very annoying to play against when you get the cold snap points up, and as you can see already, MSS going to try and get a little bit of a side pull work in there, able to pull the full creep wave off, and we'll see if Infamous are going to be able to come and contest as they are simultaneously doing their pull into the small camp.
It's a really interesting build too, because it has different peaks as well. Like even early on, it's very annoying to play against, and then you get the level 10 talent for the Ghost Walks, you're scouting everywhere, and then the 15 talent when you have a 5-second cooldown on cold snap, which is just ridiculous. Completely unplayable without a BKB in a lot of team fights. Now, mind you, they do have the Slark, right, for having that Dispel. I'm sure partly why they went for the hero. They'll take that off, and there's a stun. Potential first blood here.
Down bottom, Highlight Die trying to trade hits. Schofield very low and goes down. Yawar drawing first blood, and Kai will eventually fall as Whisper not quite able to hit the Split Earth there the second time around for Yawar.
You will take that, though, if your Newbee get the first blood. And a good start here for Yawar. Gonna send out a clarity to Pylai Die and say, could you bring that down to me? Thank you very much. Handy supports dying to play Courier for their core players.
You can see mid lane so far. This Slark having a very nice time of it. 17-7 versus 8-1 on the Kunkka. And Chris Luck really not, oh god, he's gotta be careful though. Yeah. And CCNC, he's trading hits, very fire, still trying to live through this one. Pounce away, my god, Chris Luck, you're crazy.
Yeah, he's just doing the math here. He's like, all right, I'm fine.
Breaks the south, CCNC, okay. That works as well. I'm not sure what's happening in this mid lane, but Chris Luck does not have the regen that he needs. Does have a salve on the Courier, but it's still not back at the base yet. He has to go pick it up from the fountain.
Yeah, so CCNC is going to get a little bit of control on the wave here to try and catch back up in the CS, perhaps even bully Chris Luck on the tower, but no, he's a bit too busy at the moment. Looks like I'll get a little bit of free space there.
You can see the Earth Spirit sort of bouncing back and forth between.
They both have vision of that at bottom area, so CCNC well aware where Schofield is, and likewise rotations will be scouted as well for our Slark.
Slark will come back in the lane with full HP afterwards. Still seeing one of the problems that Slark can run into against the Kunkka is, even though you can't use the Tidebringer for denies, very solid for harassment purposes.
But if you miss that torrent that CCNC threw out and get pounced, he was probably dead.
True enough.
You know, it's the stats stack up pretty quick for the Slark, giving himself lots of armor to trade hits with the Kunkka.
Abomination.
I think Whisper's just doing fantastic down here, though. Going even versus the Lifestealer and the Elder Titan lane. I wasn't sure exactly how difficult it would be for him. Obviously, he saved up for the boots relatively early on to give himself some survivability, but the fact that Schofield's making all these rotations hasn't hurt him in the lane at all.
Schofield dropping a rock just onto the head of Highlight Die as they continue to trade hits. And I mean, Infamous are just crazy. He's got this haste rune, so he doesn't have to worry. And he's going to head back anyways for the bounty runes, it looks like.
Yeah, and he backs nice and early, too, so that he doesn't end up just getting torrented near the end of that haste rune and wind up dying. So
is he going to go for their bounty rune? Looks like that might be the play that he makes. You are in the meantime keeping control of it.
In the mid lane, Chris Luck is getting real low here.
Dude, this guy is so crazy. Fairy Fire, another round of it.
Oh, I think he got
in, and CCNC with the outplay, and that's the tip.
Proud of his mid laner there. The boy's growing up here, getting kills in the mid lane on the main stage. And yeah, he has been playing very dangerously in that Slark. Almost felt like that was destined to happen at some point here.
I mean, that's the flavor though, right? Like, that's what they add in. That's what you love to see from time to time, because when it works, it's beautiful. Well, that's fair enough. But when it works, it's beautiful, and you demoralize the opponent. I feel like that's part of the strat in a way, as you are going to get rolled on down their bottom. And 1,000 gold lead for Newbee, but still very early goings.
Oh, up top, the mana burn on the Hector there too, so hard for them to really continue that harass onto Snake King. And 6-minute rune gonna be coming up here very soon. Paladai looking to secure bot. It'll be an invis, so I mean, not the best for an ET, not the worst though. And so he'll pass right by Schofield. Just gonna make sure he doesn't tag him up there.
The call is we're gonna go on to Whisper now, see if we can find him out. Split Earth down, and Whisper going to back away. Obviously do have an idea. As up top, it looks like there could be a go as they've made the full rotation. Snake King trying to scoot down here and find Hector, able to get his Wraith Fire blast off first, which means there is no follow-up.
That hurts.
With the Torrent.
A mid-rotation and not securing the kill. Down bottom though, Schofield, they also can't get him. Salt miss on Whisper, and I think he's dancing away too. There's no open wounds left for UR.
Just super maneuverable. High movement speed, combo together with runaway spells. Make it work. And Chris Luck, let them know about it.
Oh, that mid lane's so empty. He's just wondering where CCNC is. You know, does he have the same torrents that Chris Luck does from the mid lane? We'll see. CCNC, look, see, piece of cake. He's got this too, he says.
Yeah, able to get the stack off there. And Juar now taking a bit of a beating. The roll come in. They get the rage off though, because that was a little bit of vision off to the side. You are realizing that Schofield is in the area, and Whisper going to be able to get some extra damage there off on a Pylai die before they back to the hard camp to farm it up as well. So, back towards mid, Chris Luck, Dark Pact, sidesteps the Torrent. And how would you rate this Slark mid so far? He's got 15 denies. Seems like he's having an okay time.
Yeah, he gets to the point where he just bullies the Kunkka back, right? Where he takes enough stacks and he says, okay, I can't contest you anymore. But without a rotation, he's not going to have the damage to bring down Chris Luck unless he's quite low, especially once he gets past level 6, right? That's the big tipping point for this lane, and that's why suddenly it feels like CCNC's barely playing it. He just maybe shoves out the wave a little bit and then goes back to trying to find rotations. So find Schofield and Whisper. Probably almost baiting here.
Back the other direction. They do have the X. Whisper already broken. Schofield trying to control CCNC, who is in trouble. He does finally get that rum buff off onto him, which is going to keep him that much more survivable. Schofield still thinking about chasing, but they've already killed off Pylai Die. And now with Chris Luck moving into position, Newbee in trouble as their mid laner is going to get pounced on. They find the catch for the kill. And no other answers. Man, Infamous, they're just rolling through this one. Yawar almost goes down as well. But MSS in the area to save his buddy.
Yeah, almost forced the tornado. Force of the tornado. The TP came down just to try and save CCNC first. And now Chris Luck just continuing his presence in the Radiant territory, and that's keeping them off the lanes, right? I mean, Whisper's down bottom, farming freely. Now UR's gonna have to TP there. Schofield keeping the jungle occupied too. They don't have any real way of just gaining net worth and trying to propel themselves back into this game from Newbee through these stacks, which we've seen before, right? These Tide Hunters.
Well, and speaking of net worth, you can see the top 3 cores all held right now by Infamous, as Whisper is going to get pummeled by UR a little bit. The stomp comes through and lands. UR trying to go for the body blocks, but the Torrent follow-up is going to be there, and Schofield not able to save his carry. In fact, he's going to get brought down to boot. Yeah. So CNC finds another kill. In the meantime, Chris Luck does kill off the support poker.
That was with the Ghost Walk too. Looks like he had just gotten off, I guess, as I don't see any detection there from Chris Luck. Oh, there's Sentry on the high ground. Aha, I see it now.
He got it.
Blocking off that camp to stop the constant stacking from the Kunkka. So now I thought about stacks in the bottom lane because it's occupied by Schofield. They do have a lot up here actually near Snake King, right? He's got that camp, another camp, got the Ancients too, so the whole Radiant triangle looking quite stocked.
Chris Luck Going to get the pounce away, just barely. Doesn't have the mana left over for Shadow Dance. And he has slept. They got eyes on him. Now in some trouble. Chris Luck able to walk away for the moment. The tornado is going to be there. Does he get the Dark Pact off? He still doesn't have mana. A huge problem for Slark. He decides, I'm just going to turn and fight. Start to build up those Essence Shift stacks. Doesn't have any other help in the area. And Pylai died. They get the Shadow Dance. He managed to get his mana back. Still healing up through this. Chris Luck turns, finds the kill on Pylai die before he dies.
All right, the 4-on-1, fair enough. But top lane, they're going to Ravage Whisper here and give Yawar plenty of time to make this rotation. They don't want to trade one back this time on Snake King, so it will still be a 2-for-1 and favor Newbee here. Plus, they are at the gold disadvantage, which helps some of those bounties a little bit.
Absolutely. The thing that I will say about that, I was 4 heroes rotating for the kill on the Chris Luck, and still Hector not really being that impeded in terms of his farm.
Have we seen this before?
I think that we have.
This is a replay of the group stages and, you know, about an hour and a half ago?
It will say that Hector does feel a little bit further behind in farm than he was in the previous games.
When you're 600 ahead of the next highest hero, and you go, I don't know about Hector this game. He's looking a little lax.
It's true, though.
I mean, what's he even doing?
He's had ridiculously good performances. And this one's still quite a solid one. Chris Luck.
Pylai died. This was not the area for him.
Yeah, he did have the Dark
earlier
Pact off.
today.
Pylai has died here more than a few times. Man, this Slark build.
He's going to open a cemetery here. Yeah, just very aggressive, right? Has the range up for the extra mana regen. Help himself out as he's roaming across the map. And that's survivability. Now CCNC gets a freebie here on the Stinger.
They're rotating in, though, afterwards, and he does have the AA Blast onto him. Chris Luck looking for the follow-up with Schofield in tow. They have the Magnetize onto him, controlled, and CCNC looking like he is going to die as well as they get the pounce, leash, follow-up, the reapplication of the Magnetize. As it looks like they are maybe even going to be able to go for more. Schofield still keeping eyes on MSS, throws out another Remnant, gets the catch there onto Snake King. Schofield making it happen, and Chris Luck just keeps the ball rolling. One by one, Infamous. Man, they're doing it.
Extremely mobile and aggressive heroes, the Slark and the Earth Spirit. When you pair them up together like this, absolutely ridiculous. Stealing 72 Agi. Look at that. He's in for 185 right now.
And this is, again, just Trump's
get out of here.
He picks up a few more on his way out as well.
Remember that game in the group stages for Sumail? I think he was like 10-0-1 or something on Kunkka, something like absolutely ridiculous. And it still felt like it was kind of like this even game for EG. Like they had to work so hard out of that mid lane to try and keep this game going in their favor. And I feel like that's kind of what CCNC has to do this game.
Right.
He's dropped a couple deaths now. He really needs that big pop-off. He's trying to go for that halberd. And in terms of friends to rotate around with, it's not necessarily that great. Like MSS is sort of queued more towards big team fights, right? Rather than these little small skirmishes on the Invoker.
And Chris Luck again. Snake King, seeing if they want to chase him down. They do have the Torrent follow-up. Ice Blast to land, though, afterwards. And now maybe the turnaround comes as they deal up Schofield in the area. The Ravage lands. A nice combination, but it's not enough to bring down Chris Luck. He slept for the moment, tries to run away. Barely going to be able to walk out. No! They find that kill. And now Whisper in very deep. And one by one, Infamous are going in. They don't quite have enough damage, though, as Newbee still being brought down so low, but not enough for the kill. Whisper will fall, but Newbee live.
God, the spread of the damage there. You combine the HP of Snake King and Pylai, they're not even 100 HP. They're way back there. They're still going. Stinger down.
And they're still living as well. And all the Magnetize, though, this might be the big game changer. All of that damage over time. It's a triple kill for Yawar, but a double for Schofield.
I think he went down first, though, right? He did get MSS first, so Schofield will grab himself a little bit of XP there on the Earth Spirit, and you really do want every little bit that you can get. And 629.
It goes into say again the power of that Coco's Rum, just bringing everybody super low, but damage mitigation.
And a very good job spreading that damage as well there from Newbee. But this comes with the high risk play that they're going for. The super mobility, the Earth Spirit, and the Slark. They're forcing these fights in usually very dangerous spots, but obviously they're playing quite fantastically. Chris Luck knows he's under vision there with the help of his ultimate, so he just kind of walks at the Kunkka and runs away. But one missed Dark Pact like that can just cause you so much trouble in the Slark.
Incredibly difficult to fight into, and this is that hero that just wants to keep rolling through the engagements. And now Stinger having level 7 with his ultimate being thrown around a couple of times, it feels like they can just start a fight anywhere on the map and everybody gets there. Whereas Newbee, They need all 5 together to make that engagement happen, and this again buys space for that Wraith King to keep his farm going.
Yeah, and looking at MSS, we talked a lot about this build. It just was like the core one, right? The urn is the medallion for these invokers. Oh, that tornado!
Split Earth comes
Still dies though. I mean, it looked cool. Got a mid-roll.
Look out, Chris Luck's back again. The fight's going on the other side as they did get the boat dropped onto the Ancient Apparition, but he's living, and well, they jump back in. Chris Luck, this guy just wants to battle. And we got fish in the water.
Schofield's coming with the magnetize too.
Be careful.
Ravage in 20. Time is ticking for Infamous right now.
They do have the silence if they wanted to land it out there, but the slowdown coming from Pylai. Whisper moving into position. They have the cold feet applied, and Chris Luck able to take him down, but he did get the Earth Splitter off first. And now Schofield still chasing. They get the Ice Blast onto CCNC Tornado. Lifts up onto Chris Luck. In for the follow-up. Can't quite catch there onto CCNC Ravage to get the turnaround, and they do manage to catch the Slark. Whisper down low, gets kicked. Oh, Schofield! He did it to him! He blessed him, and he got his buddy out of trouble. Chris Luck, though, is he going to be so lucky? CCNC going to throw out that boat. They do have a Shadow Dance still living through it. Chris Luck trying to run away. Do they have any extra control? He gets the pound off at the angle. Oh, please, Infamous. That's pretty.
Look at that regen right now. Hiding in the tree line there, back up to Max, and easily able to go back when it wasn't for that shrine there too. And whew, Infamous are playing so deep on that Radiant territory, and there's a 0-0 Wraith King in the jungle.
He's doing everything he wants.
195 last hits, he's got his Midas, he's got his Radiance, and he's working on a bit more there. They are playing this entire game of 4v5 and looking fantastic. 99%!
Oh, Hector. Oh,
6
Hector.
seconds wasted. That's the best I've seen.
Oh, man. You talk about efficiency on this guy, and it doesn't get better than that. And it's not just the Midas, it's everything.
It does.
Shut up, Brian. Get the hell out of here.
All right, just watch the statements here. Come on now. I'm always looking for improvement. One must strive for perfection.
That's fair enough. All right, 17 minutes in, 5,000 gold lead right now for Infamous. And again, it's just all of these movements that they can make, running into the jungle, creating chaos. And Newbee, in a way, it feels like they're not really able to get out of this mentality where they feel like they have to come and fight because otherwise they're going to lose heroes one by one.
Yeah, and look how bold they just feel from Infamous because of this Slack, right? That's another amazing thing about this hero is just the vision control that you get thanks to his ultimate. And it allows you to play in these very deep areas. Like, you know, 17 minutes into a game, you don't tend to get to like play all 5 heroes like this, but they just know they're safe from initiation because of his ult.
Well, and one of the hallmarks of teams that win is controlled aggression. Infamous here, the temptation is obviously just to go balls to the wall and try and run at them. There is still the chance for a turnaround. You look at the Newbee lineup. They've got Invoker, Ravage coming out from the Tide, all the Kunkka spells and the Elder Titan. This is that moment where if you go too far forward, you could potentially get punished.
Yeah, they still need a little bit of help though, right? You are trying to get towards that Radiance, and the Lifestealer, when you go this build, previously we saw him finish the Midas, the Armlet, and then he got the Radiance after. This way, going for that Radiance just means you have this giant period where you don't really help your team all that much.
I mean, again, you talked about it earlier. Right now, Yawar is 5-0-5. He's been involved in kills. He's been running around making things happen. Wraith King 0-0-0, and he's 3,000 gold ahead of him. He just farms. This guy's a monster.
We figured it out. It only took us like 7 days of watching him play. Arcane Rune on a Slack, not gonna grab this guy. Hector, Skeletons up top. Chris Luck aggroing that mid-tower. Look at Hector.
He's just running in. He doesn't have that much mana afterwards, but he's not looking afraid, and he just wants to beat down MSS. Does need to be a little bit wary. Has enough for his ultimate. Still, he's brought down super low. Hector trying to back away the Echo Stomp. He gets the kill. He bleeds. Hector goes down, and he didn't have his ulti available because of the mana drain, and now the kick away Whisper still living through it. Infamous realized we need to get out.
That timing was terrible. He just threw out the stun, and just perfection there from Paladin. Just like, oh, the stomp. I got him. I got him, guys. He's dead. So yeah, all that EMP adding up there, I thought for sure he was going to be fine, but not able to get the reincarnation there means that they at least have thoughts of backing.
Whisper now going to be the next one that's targeted here.
Good
They
silence.
decide to go. Good play there.
Yeah,
Nice
stops the
go.
combo from CCNC, and they're even going to smoke for the additional move speed to try and get themselves out of here. That's mostly Stinger trying to live, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Does not want to get caught out. Do not feed away kills one by one by one. And Newbee, signs of life here for themselves as they get that Radiance completed. And are going to be able to pick up 2 bounty runes as well. And now find Schofield. He will have that silence again available.
1,580 HP as well.
Just throwing out the Magnetize. Okay. Are they chasing for more? Whisper is super low and in trouble as they catch him. And the Lesh is going to go down. So Infamous losing hero after hero these past couple minutes.
Pop down there, very nice. Things still looking very good for Infamous though, right? I mean, 5K lead, Hector's terrifying. He's got that blade mail. He still wants to force another fight. And Chris Luck, probably the BKB is that big thing that they're waiting for.
Seems like it. Obviously, Wraith King, once he gets that level 20 talent, does make a huge difference, having the no reincarnation mana cost. But at least for now, there are still ways for Newbee to deal with them.
Man, they're considering double Halberd here. I like it. One on Yawar as well as the one onto the CCNC here. So, I mean, they understand where all the damage is coming from the Slark as well as that Wraith King. Of course, the Radiant's frustrating, but you can negate a lot of that AoE because of the run buff, as you pointed out. So just stop them from attacking us. Sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that Slark cannot take off of him.
Yep.
And in the meantime, 21 minutes in, 5,000 gold lead. Newbee trying to play for the later stages. Again, oh, Chris Luck, Fusel Blade, but no chance for a follow-up there.
Yeah, just, there's 5 sentries on Stinger, but he's a bit too far back. MSS even currently under a sentry, actually, but they have some lingering vision in all that area they've been controlling on the side of Infamous. And some beautiful wards too, right? Like this one in between the tier 3 and the tier 2 in the mid lane. Same thing in the top lane, also between the tier 3 and the tier 2. Trying to spot exactly where they're rotating out of the base from Newbee, and that helps you pick these good team fights for yourself.
Oh, caught. Chris Luck going to be able to back off the Dark Pack, keeping him survivable. And Chris Luck keeps on spamming it out. All the chat wheels you love to see. Illusion. And now you are. Where does he go next after this Halberd? I mean, he's got the AC queued up next. Are you feeling like he's in this game? He hasn't really been able to make that many plays, mainly just following up with what the rest of his team is doing.
I guess the question is, like, what is his role in the team fights, right?
Yeah.
Trying to add on some burst damage, I would think with the Infest would be great to try and bring down the Slark. If they manage to get some sort of a stun, that's the big question to me is how are you going to find that currently if you're playing for the side of Newbee? How do you kill this Slark? Like, when he goes in too deep and the fight gets really messy under a tower and stuff, they've been able to get him, but I feel like these fights that if they're initiating it on the side of Infamous, Chris Luck probably has a very good chance. And then if the BKB is out, I have big concerns for trying to kill this Slark.
Might have got a quick glimpse there of
This is
the
pretty
Ghost
good.
Walk.
Yeah, I like this.
It's dangerous, and Infamous, not sure if they saw the debuff applied to them, but now with the Radiance hitting there onto those creeps, will pop out of the Invoker.
Yeah, the tower being hit in the top lane by the creeps, probably something that's tipping them off on the side of Infamous to maybe back on out of there.
And it feels like right now Infamous, they're just going to wait for that level 20 likely of Hector.
Hey, look, well, where's Hector going, guys? Oh, he's TP in a farm.
He's TP in a farm.
No, you guys don't want these camps? No, it's fine, I got him.
This guy knows what's up. In the meantime, they're also stacking up other camps on the other side of the map. Hector getting very close to that level 20, which completely changes the way he can play in this game. They have the BKB already there for the Slark.
I swear, I just saw him skeleton, and now, again, it's just, every time it's back, he's got the max charges, right? Like, he's farming so fast at this point. Those other skeletons are still going.
Well, Chris Luck, a little bit of a bother, but he has the BKB, and that's going to make it absolutely fine. The leash is out now. The boat going to not connect because of the BKB. Now nice Schofield still chasing. They're all grouped together from Newbee. What else can they find? Hector walks forward, wants to get a stun onto one. Again, Force Staff keeping Schofield from getting stomped there. Yawar, is he going to be able to get out of this one at a time? The splitter timing right after the Rage Warp, and Yawar's down.
Oh, they got him.
Off to the side. They're keeping him controlled. Chris Luck will fall, but Hector is here, and he's just going for it as they find CCNC. The splitter lands after the Yules. They find themselves another pickoff. Infamous take 3.
Yeah, Snake King and Pylai died. They're hitting those big ultis that they need with the Ravage and the Earth Splitter, but they're still only able to take down that Slark. A big kill nonetheless. I mean, that was his first BKB. but Infamous still taking charge in these engagements here, and so much XP across the board for them now. 5,600 from that fight.
Very well played indeed.
Look at this nice balance on the Wraith King from Hector. 50% physical, 50% magical. Snake King does have the pipe to try and help with that now.
And now an 8,000 gold lead. Infamous on the verge of moving on and continuing to be the furthest placing South American team at the International. Stinger is going to get caught here, though, it looks like, with the Ice Wall follow-up. The force staff coming from Schofield, and he's fine and dandy. They back out.
Does not feel like the kills are even.
No.
Oh, we get ourselves a replay here, too. Schofield so close to going down and living on the absolute edge there, but taking down Uwar. He still had the Infest, couldn't quite get it off, probably because of the Ice Blast, of course. Didn't have any sort of a moment for it to get the final kills there, and just the run down after from Team Infamous is Chris Luck, you know, taking his time in the grave to ensure the tips get out there.
Ooh! You can see they're feeling it right now, knowing they're on the verge of moving on. Unless Newbee can do something about it. It feels like it has to be around these big team fights from Newbee. Draining the mana, causing chaos, but BKB is such a good answer to this lineup. You can see the disparity, more than double the amount of bounty runes taken by Infamous in this game. They're about 2,600 gold to the benefit. Oh, Chris Luck DD, this is scary time.
Yeah, they've been waiting for this Roche for quite a while here. Didn't necessarily have the best items for it, but a DD will help. Fortunately, they are respecting the side of Newbee and their team fight, right? Just 20 seconds away from the Ravage. The Earth Splitter is already back and available, so they know it has to be kind of this perfect moment. They need good scouting here, and what's the Newbee plan? Still waiting on 15 for MSS and his talents. Looks like they won't even have to approach the pit. They'll still leave it here, as the Spirit will confirm their suspicions that Infamous has left. Meanwhile, some confused skeletons will hang out with Roche.
So a little bit of again, reset. Where did we get to this point? And it feels like it's, again, been those 4 heroes from Infamous making space for the Wraith King to farm up. Hector is now online with level 21, has the talent, and he's just running walking. He literally does not care. He's going to farm their Ancients in front of him and dare Newbee to come and fight. Stun already out. They have the sleep. Slowdown coming with the Boulder Smash. Hector popping the Blade Mail, still thinking about chasing. This is now all of the run buff onto all of Newbee, but they've committed everything to kill off this Wraith King one time. Can they get him a second time? Chase forward, Chris Luck with the BKB, wanting to find himself a target. Hector also pops the BKB. They've gone in really deep. Snake King does have Ravage. If they're able to wait this one out, have Infamous gone a bit too far, or are they going to turn now? The run buff is going to wear off, but Snake King with the Ravage goes forward, hits it on a 3. Chris Luck able to escape. Now the follow-up coming from Whisper, who runs back into all of them. They find the damage. All of the heroes of Newbee starting to drop down. Whisper will fall. And meantime, the chase forward coming from more. Magnetized onto everybody. Chris Luck, he's on such low HP with this magnetized being reapplied. Finding CC&C. Another round of kills. Hector he doesn't have anything. 1 second. Oh! And he's coming back again. Turns it now onto Snake King as the run comes. Need to get out. They've gone as far as the buyback is there as well. Another kick from Schofield, trying to keep Hector alive as he turns, throws another stun. They don't have another ulti this time, but the walkway is coming as Chris Luck finds space and time for his team. He will give his life for his carry as Hector and Schofield escape.
Man, this guy has just been dark packing everything in these big fights. So Infamous, they take a victory in that one, forcing it to the buybacks overall. I guess, obviously, Newbee, they have sent them back, but Slark perhaps forced the buyback if they can potentially peek into the Roche pit, but I don't even know if they can do that from the side of Newbee. That fight looked so good for them, too, like the way they were drawing them all back in there. But it looks like Infamous are still going to be the ones gaining on that gold, thanks to the fact that Hector lives.
Hector lives. I can't say anything more about it than that, but Newbee, now with Chris Luck dead for another 30 seconds, feeling confident to try and pressure this mid-tier 1 tower. The silence does come out and Hector shows up. They find the Ice Blast afterwards. Forstaff trying to escape, but now Uwar trying to TP out. That means the rest of his team is potentially going to be caught out here. Hector chasing, they find Snake King, get the kill, 70 seconds, no buyback. And the question is, do they run to Roche right now?
One would think so, with the dieback confirmed. Now, he did pop a Skellies down the mid lane. Oh, actually, no, those are the old Skellies. Sorry. These things just keep on coming back. So Hector heads to the pit. He will be a very disappointed because, look, did you see that? Midas was ready. He's like, oh, yeah,
Oh, wait.
almost went back.
They don't have the Lesh here, and they're going to lose the AA. Infamous, they're still thinking about fighting this one. They don't have Earth Spirit or Lesh for this fight as of yet, but they still want to go in and take Roche if possible. Buyback is there for the Ancient Apparition. Oh,
30-minute bounties.
DD spawns right outside the pit.
Well, I mean, they probably have it anyway, to be fair. As that's not a courier, it is a forward spirit heading in there. I would get confused by that.
Stomp comes out, able to dodge away, just putting Roche to bed. To take him down afterwards. They're trying to slow down this push if at all possible. They do have Ravage if they can hold it out long enough. Still 10 seconds until that Tidehunter is back up. But they're throwing out the tornadoes.
I think you gotta try and steal. I don't think you can fight this.
Dispel the DD. They still are moving in. 2 seconds until the Ravage is back in online. Hector, they're throwing everything that they possibly can, trying to keep it down, but there's gonna be the Aegis picked up, and a little bit too late. Snake King not able to get there.
Yeah, can't quite find even the Roche kill, I think is pretty much what they were angling for at that point. I think going into that battle was not gonna end well for Newbee, and they knew it.
11,000 net worth lead. CCNC just trying to hold these lanes back, slow down whatever push they possibly can. So it feels like they need more time.
Yeah, lanes are definitely the name of the game right now for a Newbee. They just have to try and stop the ball from approaching their towers as Schofield bringing Snake King far out. Let's be forced back here by MSS. I believe the only one on the team with the Force Staff. Indeed, very useful this game versus the Slark, versus the combos of the Earth Spirit, even just the Wraith King, the follow from the AA. They could use a couple, but Pylai far too poor for another item on this ET this game, really hurting them out of the support roles.
And you compare just the relative value that you're getting out of these other heroes. Whisper, well, he doubles back, pops the BKB and deciding to run away. In the meantime, though, look at Hector. He's inside the base, pops the BKB, turns on the Snake King. He can't afford to die. And now Hector in very deep. Yuar is going to try and chase the Ice Blast. It comes in, it hits him. Oh, they took him down, no buyback. 50 seconds with no tie. And Infamous ready to walk in at this point. It didn't dodge away from the Ice Blast that came through. Disarmed, Wraith King. He's going to be okay for the moment as the sleep comes through. Tornado lift up. He is coming back in a second.
Oh man, AA buffs coming through with the Tracer. Being gone, getting those kills in the fountain used to be pretty damn difficult. But Stinger puts a big one into Newbee.
Still 25 seconds until Wraith King, his ultimate's going to be back up again. So it looks like with that Infamous not wanting to go for the all-in play at this point, probably the right decision. It'd be tough to take the tower without committing fully to the fight.
Yeah, the high ground is there, right? And they are going to respect that. Even though the Kunkka is a little bit behind here in terms of net worth. I mean, it just looks that way, I guess, relative to Hector. He's still pretty close to his opponent mid laner. You have to look out for the boat, the cleave, the ET, the invoker, and then, of course, the end-all, be-all, the Ravage.
And it does feel like that's really been one of the difference makers as you compare the farm that Snake King's been able to get in this game. And it just hasn't really stacked up to what the Lesh is doing damage-wise. And that's always going to be the case with the Lesh rack, but not able to capitalize on the control that Snake King's offering to the team with his Ravage.
And it feels like Yuar needs to get absolutely massive to have a chance in this game. And he's trying, MSS as well. He's finally back towards that Solar Crest now too, to try and give a little bit more assistance over to Yuar in these team fights. And Hector continues to walk.
And he's going to walk. He's going to pop the Blade Mail. They have the boat afterwards. Rum buff going to be applied to everybody. Hector will go down one time, but can you kill him again? Whisper hits the splitter. Nice play as they get the Force Staff away, but he's X'd and the BKB popped. Hector's out.
BKB down, Reincarnation down. Feels like a moment you'd like to get some aggression in from Newbee, but Hector takes the time to just BKB, TP back to the neutrals.
He's ready to go. I mean, I will say that it's maybe a little bit concerning the inability of Infamous to close out this game right here, considering 15K net worth.
Right, or with the Aegis too, right?
Yeah, or at the very least get a tier 3 tower. Oh, the juke away. Schofield runs into everybody. See you later, guys.
Can't live.
Schofield manages to get away.
No, there's no way.
He's rolling out. MSS wants the kill, but in the meantime, Chris Luck trying to play interference.
He really is.
Dude, they're doing it. And now the rundown, though. Schofield looking like he is in a little bit of trouble. Disarmed. Chris Luck trying to run. They don't hit the Sunstrike. Schofield, he gets away again. What's that TV show, I Shouldn't Be Alive? That's Schofield right now.
All right, well, consider that smoke dismantled, and at least one attempt there from Newbee to punish the aggression of Infamous will go unsuccessful here. 35-minute bounty runes pop up. They will at least get 2 of them. Chris Luck.
Dude, every time we look at this guy, he's just punching somebody. He will back out now. And Infamous definitely setting the tempo of this game. We saw with that smoke up, Newbee trying to catch them off guard and see if they can regain some agency in this one. But it is still 4 heroes that run around, make things happen, and now Hector again picks up another item, the Silver Edge this time.
Yeah, and I like the Shiva's Guard too from Whisper, because if they're going to try and play these side lanes from the side of Newbee, that vision is super helpful for going for these gank plays, as well as even just going up high ground, trying to spot out something like Pylai Die, get that last bit of vision.
Oh, they spotted him briefly. The night vision, Snake King, he revealed himself, and Chris Luck, the Aegis just now expires. He's got to run, he's got to hide. Snake King chasing, looking for the follow-up. The disarm is there, and well, it's going to get the Dark Pact off as well as the BKB. They're in trouble as they're taking down that tier 3 tower, but Chris Luck running away, gets the pounce out, Shadow Dance, and away again. They can't keep doing it to them, and look at your base. Tier 3 towers down, the barracks are starting to fall, Hector is here. And on the other side, they're still keeping control. Up north, they're keeping eyes on him, and Chris Luck playing with the other heroes. As they've got the Ice Blast follow through onto Snake Thing. Newbee are being pulled left, right, and center. They finally force out the BKB TP from CCNC, which means he isn't going to have it afterwards. UR jumps inside. They do have Hector controlled. It was a good and fast play to get UR back, but Hector will have his ultimate available. Snake King walking forward, looking for the Ravage. Doesn't quite get it, though. They manage to get the X-Back pull onto Whisper, trying to kill off this pesky Letrak, but he will not go down idly either, as Hector gets the Shadow Blade walk away, and Whisper, he's just dancing on him as he tries to escape. Sunstrike coming through, still not enough for the kill. He's literally just walking away. They have the Ravage available, but Snaking, he doesn't want to pop it. They give him the tip. Oh, have mercy. Please, no. Another disarm. Snaking controlled. They have the Ravage, gonna finally throw it out now. He outran it. Able to catch it. He just runs away. They have lost Chris Luck, and with that, Infamous will retreat.
Oh, Whisper, get on your horse and ride. They have just pulled Newbee apart. They've torn their base asunder, and I don't think Newbee know what just happened.
Literally styled on.
Why go high ground if you can just make them leave their base and chase you endlessly through the tree lines?
20,000 net worth lead after that, and in all of the chaos that Infamous has flourished in, they managed to take down 2 sets of racks. And Newbee, as you said, now left struggling to figure out what to do. That was all as the Aegis was expiring. They got that without the Aegis.
Infamous, the late game, right? It's been discussed, this idea of just like, that's where they've been shining. Not something you tended to say about some of the smaller regions before, right? Always peaked on aggression. Like Hector, I mean, they're still showing that, but they've got the big macro strategy to go with it now.
And they do kill Hector, but the Wraithfire Blasts are going to fly out, and Hector going to try and BKB and walk away afterwards. UR, they feel like they need to get something here desperately. Force Staff away again in the Split Earth to stop the chase. It does have that feeling like for Newbee, it's all slipping away, even denying the Tier 1 tower in the face of UR. Maybe some solace in a Hex being picked up from CCNC as they need more ways to control in this fight. But Chris Luck looking for the opening. They find MSS, gonna jump onto him at the start. Snaking trying to find a good angle of initiation to Ravage at, but they're not hitting onto anybody. Meanwhile, MSS turned upon by Hector. They've got him controlled. Chris Luck, they tear him apart, and now the rest of them running into the side. They apply the Ice Blast as well. UR turned upon, trying to run, trying to TP away, but the bash comes through. They find their man. Infamous running forward for more as UR just trying to get away from everybody else, but there's no buyback on Snaking. They find another bench. They took down the Invoker, and they are looking to take the rest of this base.
Now that is teamwork. Coming through, you got Glimmer Capes, saving himself with the 4 staffs too. Just everyone saving each other, looking after the other's backs in these fights. It's so hard for Newbee to catch them already. They're such slippery heroes. Before you add in the fact of just like your friends are there. They have so much trust in each other, and how many times have we brought that up at this tournament?
And 3 get slept, but the one that didn't gets the 4-staff save onto Schofield. Chris Luck walking forward the leash. They have the halberd, but they don't have the damage. And now they have the control as another Ice Blast goes through. You can hear South America chanting in the background as Infamous are looking to take a top 8 spot. GG call. The first time for South America to have a team in the top 8.
You can see the love, though. I mean, these guys know each other, even in the chat right after. It's like, congratulations. Of course, much respect to their opponents as Newbee will be sent home. The adopted sons of China coming in, getting some help at the boot camp here. Still overperforming past some of the expectations people had for them. We're talking about overperforming Infamous. They are here to prove everyone wrong. They're here to represent their region and say, we are worth it. There's a reason why we're coming to the minors, to the majors, and now to TI. They're coming for you.
They're coming for you indeed. You can see the respect there as well. Obviously, it hurts to go out at any point in time in this tournament for Newbee, but it is a gargantuan achievement for this team, for this region. It is always sad to see people have to walk away, and Newbee looked incredibly solid throughout this tournament. But it is Infamous that are going to be moving on.
They're so fun to watch.
They are.
I mean, can we just say, like, the way their play styles, I know maybe it looks a little bit like monotone sort of deal, seems like the same thing a lot of the time, but Whisper, to me, just played out of his mind in these games today.
Top 8, how far can they go? Infamous, move on.
Already the most successful South American team at the International. They just became even more successful. Congratulations to Infamous for a top 8 guaranteed finish here at TI9, and congrats to Peru, to Bolivia, and to the South American scene. It's a real coming of age for that scene, gents.
Massive.
You've played with these guys. You know how much they've sweated for this, and they've wanted opportunities in the past. They've wanted these qualifiers, and then they finally get their own region. It's been building for them, isn't it?
Yeah, one big thing I do want to give credit to them, like massive credit, because I think a lot of the players, people look at South America, you look at Peru, and they've always been overshadowed. Elite Wolves, everyone always talks about Smash, the guys that got banned, of course, for the stuff that happened, whatever. But now, look at this. They finally have taken over, and they are showing it to be just amazing. They're top 8. They just took out Newbee. And they did it in such a style.
Yeah, I'm going to get more from all of you in just a minute, but I'm hearing that Casey is currently on standby and waiting with Chris Luck, who I'm sure is absolutely thrilled.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, we have Chris Luck, and Bruno's going to help us with the translation. Congratulations. I can't tell you how much everybody has enjoyed watching your run here at TI. How does it feel for you right now?
Felicitaciones. No te puedo explicar cuánto que estamos disfrutando todo tu camino aquí en TI. ¿Qué se siente en este momento?
Se siente un placer estar acá y enfrentarse a todos los jugadores y poder dar lo mejor de nosotros, ¿no? Que hemos venido acá para ser lo mejor en esto del Dota.
It's a pleasure to come here, get to play against all these teams, and be able to, show up here and try to be one of the best in all of Dota.
One of the storylines has been that you've already passed the point of doing the best that any South American team has done at TI. Now you're guaranteed top 8. Are you allowing that to sink in, or are you just able to focus on playing your Dota?
Una cosa que ha sucedido en este torneo, que es la primera vez que un equipo sudamericano llega a los mejores 8. ¿Y qué se siente? ¿Ya te sentís que estás en top 8? ¿Se siente distinto o es lo mismo?
Bueno, nuestra mentalidad es como cualquiera, ¿no? Poder ganar un torneo grande y dar lo mejor. Yo siempre he querido ser uno de los o estar en uno de los equipos que hagan historia en el Perú, como poder llegar a un lugar donde nadie lo ha hecho antes, y creo que me siento satisfecho, un poco, pero me siento satisfecho.
The mentality of the team and every one of the players is they want to be one of the best, and they want to make history for Peru, like for them to be one of the Peruvian players that are here for the first time. It's really exciting, and they're kind of satisfied with the results so far, but they want to go for more.
Más o menos. We saw Hector play Wraith King twice in Game 1 and again in Game 3. We talked to Newbee's coach, Aoi, and he said he didn't feel that was the reason they weren't performing very well on their team, but I would argue that it seems to work really well for you. How excited is Hector when he gets to play Wraith King, and how much did that contribute to your success, do you think?
Héctor jugó Wraith King en el primer y el tercer partido. Durante el segundo partido hubo una entrevista con Aui, el coach de Newbee, y ellos dijeron que no pensaban que Wraith King era algo particularmente difícil de combatir. Sin embargo, en los dos partidos Héctor ha sido una figura clave en el equipo. ¿Qué se siente jugar con Héctor cuando a él le toca jugar Wraith King?
En sí, puede jugar todos los seres de la misma manera. Creo que es la confianza que tenemos del uno al otro. Todos nos tenemos mucha confianza y sabemos que uno puede dar lo mejor de sí. Claro que a veces cometemos errores por la falta de experiencia, creo que no tenemos, a diferencia de otros equipos, y se siente bien.
It feels good. So he thinks that he can play any of the heroes. The most important thing about this is just the trust that they have in one another. And while one of their deficits is that they might not have the experience that some of the other teams that are here have, they make up for it just, having fun.
Chris Luck, muchas gracias. Felicidades. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Thank you so much. We'll send it back to you.
Thank you very much, Casey, along with one of the best cameos we get here at TI. Bruno, of course, doing the translations as well. Congrats to Chris Luck and the gents. Owen, South American Dota.
I mean, absolutely. This is why, that you give all these opportunities to SA. It may take some time to build up, but you know that they're going to get to the top. And the whole region, it's one of the craziest. Yeah. The fans, they absolutely adore the game. They absolutely adore the players. Even through the tough times, some of these players, Whisper, Stinger, Skullfoot, they've been around for a long time. They've been in a lot of different iterations, different teams. The fans have stuck with them, and it's finally paying off. You give the region this time, this space to grow, they'll show up. And they absolutely are here.
It also continues, Brian, the rivalry down there as well, because we've got the Brazilians. There's a couple of Argentinian players that are at the top end of the scale. We've got the Peruvians, got Oblivion here for the first time ever. So it's really starting to come together.
I'm just glad that a team that's coming out of SA is all SA players. I think that's been a big part.
Yes.
The region's almost been invaded because people have viewed it as
no more Kyle in South America.
Exactly. Yeah, Kyle. He wasn't even close to qualifying. Nobody even remembers that. But yeah, it's just nice to. It's like pride and it's respect. I think is what this is earning for the entire region.
Well, with every positive story, of course, there is a negative side to it, and unfortunately, it does mean that we lose yet another team. Rich is with Newbee.
Yeah, I think one thing when you look at the entire year that these guys played through, a lot of very tough schedules when you get to groups early on, and that's going to be the same story here with TI. How does that tough beginning to the tournament, even with you guys doing well, affect you when you get to the main event?
I mean, personally, it affected me a lot, I think. I took it more as a sprint than a marathon, I guess, like that stupid analogy. And yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling at this point. Like, I'm just feeling tired.
Having to go so hard early on kind of drained you. Like, how are you feeling about your performance overall? I mean, you had to overcome so much to even get to the main event.
I mean, I'm really proud of the team and like how we played. Like, we had 3 Mega Creep games that we came back from, and that was really because we weren't playing very well at that point, but like we really wanted it, so we got it. But after that, I mean, I can only talk for myself, but I'm really disappointed in like everything I did, basically.
I mean, with that disappointment, though, like you did accomplish so much to even be here, and I know everybody watching definitely sees that. Is there anything that you want to say to any of the fans who are watching right now?
Thank you. Thank you for supporting us, the Dota scene, Team Newbee. And thank you to Team Newbee, too, like for picking us up when we were left without a sponsor. That was, it turned out pretty good. And I'm sorry we couldn't do better. I really thought we would do better than this, but, I tried.
And you did a damn good job. You really did. We're going to throw it back to the desk. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Rich. Yeah, always difficult to talk to people and players in particular. This tournament means so much to them, and they put so much effort in all year round as well, gents. It's not people tuning in now for the first time. If they tune in once a year, they might think it's a once-a-year tournament. What are you talking about? There's plenty more opportunity. But this is what matters to these players. They start literally next week. They'll start thinking about next year.
Yeah, that was.
It's quite hard.
Yeah, that one was hard.
That was hard. Brian, let's go back to some more positive things because I know that you want to break down. You could probably break down like 20 minutes worth of clips from Infamous, but a key part of what made them so great in that series.
Yeah, we talked about the fact that their goal is to create space for Hector in the mid game. And here, the first two clips we're going to see are some 6 saves and barely surviving. It's all inches and seconds in the mid game here. And you're going to see him kick Whisper over the cliff to save him and then roll out. This is all a 4v5 engagement. And you're going to see Chris Luck. This is seconds later, the same exact fight. Looks like he's almost certainly dead. And he's going to take the one direction that he can barely escape from. And meanwhile, as all this is going on, as we pull up the next clip, we're going to see Hector farming some neutrals and TPing to farm some more.
This looks suspiciously like Black.
Yeah. And that's just what they're all about. They know their job is to create space for him, and they're doing it so well. Yeah. And this is the fight later on in the game where Hector has 1 second left on his cooldown of his ultimate, and it barely comes off cooldown, and you're going to see one more save ends up happening right after this clip. And these deaths are what allowed, or these saves, prevention of deaths, is what makes the difference in their ability to just take over the game. Their net worth lead always goes from like 20 minutes to 30 minutes. It always just, you just see the graph just shooting up.
I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? Just how well they played in those. Like you said, there's little minuscule moments of saves.
I want to relate a little bit because there's a reminiscent moment where I'm seeing Chris Luck diving into, there's tier 2s up, there's even tier 1s alive, and he's right outside their base, kind of like scaring people. I saw Thompson doing a lot of that stuff last year. Even this year, we've been seeing him diving. Chris Luck is showing some immense amount of confidence, and he's putting the pressure on. He's literally just running at them and forcing so much reaction. It's top notch.
Let's get some quick final thoughts on the series as a whole, Owen.
Well, Wraith King is obviously going to be the hero of topic when it comes to the conversations between teams and coaches who are going to have to play against Infamous down the line. Will they sort of take the road that Aoi did and try and see if they could tackle the rest of Infamous, leave the Wraith King in, or will they play the safe move and take it out? I think they might have to. We saw in that game, you leave it in, you feel that you can sort of deal with the rest of the team. It's not going to be the case. Whatever happens, if Wraith King's the hero, the Infamous, the rest of the 4 of them are creating the space for, Hector's just going to do so much more with that space when he has Wraith King than any other carry. He's just going to get so much out of it, and you're not going to be able to deal with him as the late game comes in.
Brian?
I just think they look flashy. I love watching them. You said it looked like OG. That's the first thing I think of. They're just having fun. You know, they're spray painting the ground just like OG, and it just looks like confidence, and it's crazy to see. They're all non-experienced players,
Absolutely.
and I just love it.
All right, thanks very much, gents. That is it from this particular panel. It's it from me for the day. You'll be in the good hands of Rich when we come back for the next series. But first of all, let's catch up with some old boys and find out where they are now.